Chapter 1280. Ellie didn't expect Su Yun to take the bait so easily. Before she went on this mission, she told Aries Peter that if he wanted her to do this, she would do it according to her plan. She wouldn't listen to their orders. If they didn't agree, she wouldn't participate in this matter. Aries had no other choice but to agree to Ellie's request. Therefore, everything Ellie did this time wasn't the original intention of the 12 heavenly stars. Their original intention was to solve the problem in the most covert way possible. Yet, Ellie chose to take the initiative to approach Su Yun. This was something that Peter couldn't understand. But he had already promised Ellie, and Ellie was Douglas' goddaughter. To a certain extent, Peter could order anyone in the 12 heavenly stars, but Virgin Ellie was a special existence. Peter didn't know about this matter, but even if he knew, what could he do? He couldn't do anything to Ellie. Ellie's opinions had been different from Peter's since she came to Huaxia. But because he was the commander-in-chief, she couldn't refute Peter's orders in public. Not only would that not convince the others, but it would also make others think that she was arrogant because of her relationship with Douglas. After all, Ares' planet Peter had been in the 12 heavenly stars for the longest time, and he had made the most contributions in the war. Therefore, his prestige was unquestionable among the 12 heavenly stars. He wouldn't allow anyone to step on him. Douglas made Ares Peter the commander-in-chief because of his prestige. If it were anyone else, it would be difficult to convince the others. There were many people in the 12 heavenly stars who had the desire to lead, but not everyone was qualified for this position. If they couldn't even convince their own people, let alone complete the mission, their team would be scattered before they could even get close to Su Yun. Therefore, even if Ellie's opinion was different from Peter's, she didn't choose to raise her opinion to Peter in public. Instead, she decided to use her own method to solve this matter. From the first time Ellie saw Wei Yishan, she didn't believe in this bullshit Buddha way. She also didn't understand why Peter would be so bold to believe that a Huaxia person would help them betray Huaxia. Patriotism was something that existed in everyone's heart, especially Huaxia people. Ailey had heard that Huaxia had smashed and robbed Japanese cars and supermarkets. Her patriotism was incredible. If she was the leader of Huaxia, she would definitely send all these patriotic people to Turtle Island. Let them stay on the island and guard it with their lives. Anyway, they are so patriotic, they will definitely make the Japanese not dare to take half a step closer. These people are hot-headed. Even if the Japanese's submarine comes, they will sink it. Therefore, Ali didn't believe Wei Yishan. Wei Yishan wasn't a child. He was an adult, so he definitely understood the significance of a genius like Kevin Matthew to a country. Would he really help them? Regardless of whether Peter believed it or not, Ellie would never believe it. She wanted to get close to Su Yun and get reliable information from Su Yun, even at the cost of everything. Ellie had her own goals. She needed to prove her position in the 12 heavenly stars and let Douglas know of her abilities. She needed to let the people in the CIA see that Ellie did not enter the CIA through connections. This thought had been accumulating in Ellie's heart for a long time. She couldn't stand the gossip she heard behind her back. Just because I came forward and said a few words, you gave me such a huge benefit in return. Isn't that a little too generous? Su Yun smiled slightly. Everyone says that you Westerners are open-minded. It seems that it's true. Ellie was stunned. How do you know I'm Westerner? Why can't I be Asian? Do I look more like a Westerner? That's not it. You look like a typical Eurasian. Su Yun smiled. Then why do you say I'm Westerner? Ellie raised her eyebrows. Su Yun shrugged. You said it's your first time at a KTV. If you live in Asia, how could it be your first time at a KTV? In Huaxia, it's such a popular nightlife entertainment place. Even the country punks go there a dozen times a year. No one would believe that a beautiful girl like you said it's your first time. After pausing for a moment, Su Yun said, but I believe it, because I know that KTV is not popular in Europe and America. There are many Europeans who have never been to a KTV in their entire lives. The nightlife of Europeans and Americans seems to be more in love with bars. There are all kinds of bars and nightclubs with different styles. Europeans and Americans like to hang out in them, but they are not interested in KTV. Ellie frowned. Su Yun was definitely not a simple person. He was very meticulous. Even such minute details could be analyzed to such an extent. It seemed that she really needed to be more cautious. Humph. However, Ellie wasn't worried. She had her own confidence. She believed that Su Yun had already sensed something about the 12 stars. If Ellie's analysis was correct, Su Yun would definitely think that they were hiding very deeply and wouldn't be easily discovered. However, she wanted to do the opposite. She wanted to get in touch with him openly. The more she did this, the less he would suspect her. Men were animals who thought with their lower bodies. Ellie believed that as long as she used a little trick, she would be able to make Su Yun fall head over heels for her. When the time came, whatever she wanted to know would be at her fingertips. You're right. I wasn't interested in KTV before, but it's different now, Ellie said. Now, I'm suddenly interested in this place. Because the rooms here are all hidden and give people a private space. In this kind of space, we can do whatever we want. Don't you think so? Su Yun's lips curled up slightly, revealing a faint smile. Yes. Not only can others not see it, they can't even hear it. You can shout whatever you want. Ellie smiled and patted Su Yun's chest. You're so annoying. That depends on what ability you have. Can you make my voice reach other people's ears? I have the confidence. I'm just afraid that you won't be able to take it. Su Yun provoked. Today, I'll let you know that Hua Xia men are real men. Don't always think that you European and American men are strong men. While the two of them were having a casual conversation, the waiter pushed open the door and came in. He was holding a bottle of wine and 2 wine glasses. Because he didn't knock on the door, he just happened to see Ellie riding on Su Yun's crotch when he pushed open the door. Nosebleed. Isn't this development a little too fast? Su. Director Su. This wine. The waiter's face was blank. His Adam's apple moved and he swallowed 2 mouthfuls of saliva. Su Yun pointed at the table. Put it over there. If there's nothing else, don't come in again. Chapter 1281. Because the door of the KTV room was not locked from the inside, to a certain extent, it was still very dangerous to play with fire inside. If one was not careful, it was very likely to be broken. If such a shameful thing was broken, it would be very embarrassing. Ailey looked at Su Yun with hazy eyes, like a lotus flower out of the water. As long as one was a young and vigorous man, he would definitely be unable to control himself. Although Ailey was only wearing an ordinary white t-shirt and light blue jeans, it still couldn't hide her hot body. Su Yun's hands were not polite to her. She was the one who sent herself to the door and directly rode on him. So, it was no wonder that he was merciful. Su Yun's strong and not rough hands directly made a move with ease, and in a few moves, Ailey was angered. The hot mixed-race girl was not polite and immediately counterattacked Su Yun. She bit Su Yun's ear with her mouth, causing Su Yun's whole body to go numb. If Su Yun couldn't stand it and disarmed, wouldn't it be a disgrace to the men of Hua Xia? Don't fight for your dignity. Don't lose to this mixed-race girl. Otherwise, when she returned to China, she would add oil to the fire and spread rumors. Then, it would be even more difficult for the young men of Hua Xia to pick up girls. It was easy for so many foreigners to pick up girls in Hua Xia. It was said that foreigners were better in bed. Today, Su Yun was going to overturn this traditional idea. I don't believe that I can't subdue such a soft girl like you. Dragon Claw Hand, Tiger Claw Hand, Eagle Claw Hand. Su Yun directly used all of them on Ailey's body, and in one breath, Ailey became soft. Even if you haven't eaten pork, you have seen pigs run. Ailey was directly defeated and begged for mercy without using the golden hand of the great god Kato Taka. TSK, with just this little bit of skill, you want to compare notes with Hua Xia, you're overestimating yourself. Su Yun's actions could be considered as helping the young and old men of Hua Xia to gain some merit for the country. The door here can't be locked from the inside. I don't feel at ease. Ali said, I can't relax like this. Shall we change to another place? Why don't you find a place for us to get to know each other? This was the rhythm of an active invitation. Guys who played Momo on WeChat every day should like to receive this kind of reply the most, right? Finding a place to get to know each other meant that they wanted to meet each other honestly and discuss physiological knowledge with each other. You should find the place. I have no experience in this area. It's my first time meeting. Soo-yoon touched his nose. Moreover, I have to tell a few friends. Otherwise, it won't be good if I just leave like this. Ellie smiled. You don't want others to see it? Of course. For this kind of thing, the fewer people who know, the better. If we go out together, won't we be exposed? Soo-yoon nodded. It's best if we go out one after the other. No one will know. Okay, then I'll go to Shinkai Hotel and get a room to wait for you. Ellie said, I'll tell the front desk. You can mention my name when you go there. They will tell you the room number. After saying that, Ellie threw a very lethal wink. Even Soo-yoon, a person with strong self-control, couldn't help but tremble a little. Between a man and a woman, as long as the woman was willing to win, she would always be in the dominant position. Especially in this kind of relationship where they just met and wanted to go to a hotel for a one-night stand, the man didn't have any initiative at all. Therefore, even if Ellie chose Shinkai Hotel, Soo-yoon didn't know how to refuse for a moment. In the end, he shook his head and said, Let's change to another place. I'm too familiar with that hotel. Then let's go to Shangri-La. I have a reserved room, 1806. After saying that, Ellie got up from Soo-yoon's body. I'll wait for you. Be there or be square. She clearly had a reserved room, but she still chose Shinkai. Of course, Ellie did this with a purpose. If Soo-yoon agreed to go to Shinkai, Ellie would immediately stop. Soo-yoon just said that it was best to do this kind of thing without anyone knowing. If he went to Shinkai, he knew everyone there. It was the same as slapping his own mouth. It meant that Soo-yoon had noticed something. Going to Shinkai would definitely be beneficial to him. Ellie was a meticulous person. She wouldn't miss any details. Even if she felt that something was wrong with Soo-yoon, she wouldn't act rashly. She would definitely find another way to continue probing. Now that Soo-yoon refused to go to Shinkai, it seemed that he had really taken the bait. Ellie was prepared to take down this man tonight. When he went to her place at night, she only needed to put a specially developed bubbling tablet with a special drug in the water. Anyone would be able to sleep like a dead pig for the whole night. That night, Ellie would have enough time to work on Soo-yoon's phone and contacts. When the time came, she wouldn't even need Wei Ishan, the suspicious spy, to fish for information. As long as Soo-yoon made a call, it would be automatically recorded and sent to her phone. In this way, all of Soo-yoon's movements would be in Ellie's hands. Ellie only needed to wait patiently for Soo-yoon to contact Kevin Matthew. Then, through the phone signal, she could use their high-tech satellite tracking system to lock onto the target. In this way, the 12 heavenly stars could catch Kevin Matthew effortlessly. There was no need to confront Soo-yoon directly. Everything would be under her control. Using wisdom to solve a battle was Ellie's favorite way. She liked to use this way to prove her intelligence and ability. Everything was going according to Ellie's perfect plan. When she went out and turned to say goodbye to Soo-yoon, she couldn't help but reveal a smile full of excitement. This smile, in the eyes of men, was an impatient smile. Soo-yoon also returned Ellie a you-know smile and watched Ellie turn and leave the small private room. After that, Soo-yoon also got up and walked out of the private room. He said to the waiter in the corridor who had just delivered the drinks, Go and tidy up. Return all the things that should be returned and tell Sister Nan. Those things aren't touched. Yes. The waiter was at a loss. When he went in just now, didn't it just start? He didn't even take off his clothes. In less than 10 minutes, the two of them came out fully dressed. Could it be that the famous CEO Soo was a fast shooter? What a pity that such a good girl was wasted by a fast shooter. Soo-yoon returned to Ling Jiling's room. Everyone listened to Sister Nan briefly explain what had just happened. When they saw Su Yun return so quickly, they were somewhat surprised. Li Yi saw that Su Yun was an easygoing person and dared to joke with him. CEO Su, Sister Nan said that a mixed-race girl wanted to give herself to you. She even prepared a separate small room for you. Why did you come out so quickly? Maybe I didn't understand. She got angry and left. Su Yun shrugged and said indifferently, Really? Sister Nan didn't believe it. Was there still such a pure little boy like Su Yun? Of course it's true. If you don't believe me, you can ask your waiter. I've asked them to return the drinks. Su Yun. They don't like me. After all, they don't live in Huaxia all year round. There are cultural differences. Ling Jiling pulled Su Yun to the side and sat down. Then play with us who don't have cultural differences. Quick, sing a song. Chapter 1282. Su Yun played at Ling Jiling's place for about half an hour before he got up and said goodbye. After all, the most important reason he came out today wasn't to celebrate Ling Jiling's birthday. It was just that the matter of the 12 heavenly stars required him to appear somewhere, so he wanted to use this opportunity to show his support. Of course, he couldn't say this out loud. If he did, it would offend some people. Su Yun got up and said, Sister Nan, Sister Jiling, I still have some other things to do, so I'll take my leave first. You guys have fun. And go do your thing. Be careful on the road. Because Su Yun didn't drink and only drank juice, Ling Jiling didn't need to worry about him. Thank you for coming today. I'm very happy. When is your birthday? Remember to let me know. Hee hee. Of course, of course. Su Yun nodded and got up to leave. He didn't even know who his parents were, so how could he know his own birthday? He was already very lucky to know how old he was this year. Everyone put down what they were doing and got up to send him off. Su Yun stopped them at the door of the private room and told them to go back and continue playing. If such a group of stunning beauties were to send him out of the KTV and be seen by the people outside, it would definitely attract hatred. If he were to encounter a radical ruffian and hit him with a brick in anger, wouldn't that be looking for trouble? Su Yun, if you have time in the future, come play with Sister Nan often. Sister Nan walked Su Yun to the parking lot of Ocean Dreams. Don't treat yourself as an outsider, okay? Su Yun nodded. I know, Sister Nan. I think you know why I didn't dare to come here. When the old man passed away, I couldn't come back. You're definitely the one who's the angriest with me. I really didn't dare to face you. Okay, it's been so long. Don't talk about it anymore. Sister Nan said, drive slowly on the road. At this time, most of the drivers in Shenzhen who follow the traffic rules are asleep. The ones still on the road are either taxis or rich second generations racing. After bidding farewell to Sister Nan and leaving Ocean of Dreams, Su Yun went straight to Shangri-La. It wasn't because Su Yun was impatient, nor was it because Su Yun had never seen a woman before. If he wanted a woman, he didn't even need to step out of the KTV. There were so many female artists out there. To be honest, if Su Yun took a fancy to any one of them, who would dare to say no? Who wouldn't be flattered? Brother Yun had no lack of women around him. The reason why he was interested in Ellie was definitely not because of the physiological needs of his lower body. Ailey had always thought that she had disguised herself very well, but it was not the case for Su Yun. Su Yun had realized the existence of the problem at the first sight of her. Perhaps this was also a cultural difference. Ailey believed that no one would back down when faced with such a situation. Moreover, she was a member of the CIA and had seen a lot of things. She didn't care about such trivial things at all. If it was an ordinary girl, who would be so righteous when being harassed by two super-rich second generations? It wasn't a matter of having a backbone, it was a matter of courage. Life wasn't a movie, nor was it a melodramatic youth idol drama. As long as the female lead was not afraid of power, it didn't matter if the other party was the young master of a modern school board or the elder brother of an ancient emperor. As long as he dared to be domineering, the female lead would fight him to the end until the other party fell deeply in love with her and couldn't extricate himself. In reality, if you met such a person and really went head-to-head with him, the unlucky one in the end was bound to be you. Not all young masters in modern times and older brothers in ancient times were as melodramatic as those on TV. If they were really forced into a corner because of losing face, they could do all kinds of terrible things. Therefore, Su Yun concluded at that time that if a girl didn't have full confidence in her own strength, it was impossible for her to stand up alone and fight against the evil forces. Moreover, she was a foreign girl, and it was her first time singing in a KTV. Obviously, she was the kind of girl who didn't have any backing in Huaxia. If such a girl didn't have any confidence, what would she use to fight against the evil forces? What would she use to fight against the evil forces? If she had power and confidence behind her, she wouldn't have been able to get so close to Su Yun. If she wasn't from the 12 heavenly stars, who else could she be? Su Yun wasn't stupid enough to think that a girl would have the urge and desire to have sex with him the moment she saw him. Even if he used his but to think, it wouldn't be possible. There must be some ulterior motive for a girl to take the initiative to ask him to have sex with her the first time they met. One had to look at themselves clearly. Did they really think that they were Daniel Wu? That they could always make girls fall in love with them? Su Yun arrived at Shangri-La and parked his car. Then, he looked for the elevator and went straight to the 18th floor. If there was really a pretty girl waiting for him inside, it would be quite exciting. However, when he thought that it wasn't a pretty girl inside, but a seriously scheming CIA Eagle Claw, Su Yun wasn't interested at all. Bang, bang, bang. Su Yun knocked on the door 3 times. "It's not locked. Come in." Ailey's voice immediately came from inside the room. This confirmed Su Yun's judgment. There was definitely something wrong with this woman. Ordinary girls wouldn't dare to leave the door unlocked when they stayed in a hotel. Moreover, it was already 1 o'clock in the morning. Even if they had agreed to have sex, she couldn't leave the door unlocked. Even if she was anxious, she couldn't be so anxious. This was simply more anxious than a monkey. Su Yun didn't stand on ceremony. He directly pushed the door open and locked the door. He saw Ailey, who was wearing pajamas, coming from the room. After seeing Su Yun, she made a seductive pose. It was definitely enough to make people burn with desire. He had to admit that this foreigner was really romantic and knew how to seduce people. Her small but made people's hearts jump. Her snow-white chest was exposed, not too much, not too little. It was very seductive. Seeing Su Yun coming, Ailey didn't say anything. She put her arms around Su Yun's neck and her legs wrapped around Su Yun's crotch. It could only be said that the strength of her waist and abdomen was absolutely terrifying. Ordinary women, except for those who practiced dancing, didn't have the strength of her waist and abdomen. It was too terrifying. "Where are you going to do it?" Ailey provoked. "On the bed, on the sofa, on the floor or on the balcony. Today, I'm yours. You can do whatever you want with me. But before that, do you want to take a bath together?" There was a couple bath service here. It was a must. Su Yun nodded. "Now." "Haha, I'm just saying. I've already taken a bath. You can go by yourself." After Ailey finished speaking, she got down from Su Yun's body. She pulled his hand and dragged him to the bathroom. She gently pushed Su Yun inside and slammed the door. All of this was so coherent, as if it was rehearsed. Su Yun really suspected that he would see a strong man who liked to play the game of picking up soap when he turned his head. Fortunately, there was no one. The jacuzzi tub had already been filled with bath water. There were also rose petals floating in it. The fragrance was intoxicating. Since he was here, Su Yun didn't care so much. He just took a bath. Anyway, she couldn't add sulfuric acid to the water. After soaking himself comfortably, Su Yun wiped his body clean, wrapped a bath towel around his body and walked out. At this time, Ellie was already lying on the bed with 2 glasses of champagne in her hands. She looked at Su Yun with a smile and said, "You're finally done showering. Come here, I can't wait. Come and have a drink with me." Su Yun threw himself on the bed and took the glass in Ailey's hands. "Then, after drinking this glass, let's have 300 rounds of sex." Chapter 1283. What's wrong? Ali looked at Soo-Yun's sleepy eyes. Don't tell me you can't do it before we start? A man can't say he can't do it. Soo-Yun rubbed his temples. It's just that I haven't slept well recently. It's not a big deal. With a beauty like you by my side, it's okay even if you don't let me sleep for 24 hours. Ali smiled. Is that so? I've heard that lack of sleep will bring a lot of physical and mental harm. It will reduce your ability to think, and it will also greatly weaken your alertness and judgment. It will also cause your immune system to become dysfunctional and lose balance. Even the most important function of you men will be affected. If you're really too sleepy, then go to sleep. I'll wait for you. When you wake up, I'll accompany you to do embarrassing things. On the one hand, he was drowsy. On the other hand, Ali was comforting him softly. Soo-Yun soon closed his eyes. Ali sneered and got out of bed. You stayed in the bathroom for so long. The soul-dispersing water I sprayed in the bathroom must have absorbed enough. Ali said coldly, You came out and drank the special champagne I made for you. Go to sleep. Although there was a man lying on the bed in front of her, Ali didn't care about taking off her bathrobe. Her body was exposed to the air without reservation. Her figure was top-notch even in the modeling world. Ali changed her clothes in front of Soo-Yun. She had nothing to worry about. Soo-Yun probably wouldn't wake up in 20 hours. When he woke up, he wouldn't know what he had done. Ali now completely treated Soo-Yun as a mass of air. After getting dressed, Ali took out a black backpack from the wardrobe and took out a heavy-looking laptop. Usually, this kind of laptop had powerful functions, just like Apple's MacBook and Dell's Alienware. One was light and thin, while the other was heavy. Petty bourgeoisie would definitely choose the MacBook, while gaming enthusiasts would definitely choose the Alienware. Ellie's seemingly ordinary and heavy notebook must have a special configuration inside to make it look so cumbersome. However, the 1-second boot proved its power. It was definitely not something that ordinary people like Alienware and MacBook could compare to. Ali went to the bathroom and took out Soo-Yun's clothes. Soon, she found his mobile phone in his pocket. Looking at the plug model, Ali quickly found a USB cable in the bag and connected Soo-Yun's mobile phone to her computer. With a ding, the mobile phone was connected to the computer and began to charge automatically. Ali opened a software and typed a series of commands. Soon, a few windows popped up on the computer. The contents of the window were all about the configuration of Soo-Yun's phone. Of course, this was not what Ellie was looking for. She typed a series of commands and another window appeared on the computer screen. Red English letters flashed in the center of the window. Unauthorized access. Unauthorized access? Ali frowned. Of course, she knew that she had no access. She did not need this damn computer to remind her. She just wanted to crack the access. The flashing, unauthorized, seemed to be a provocation. It flashed more and more frequently. Ali typed a series of commands into the computer again. She did not believe that there was a command program that she could not crack. After a while, Ali's computer screen still popped up with unauthorized access. Unauthorized access. Unauthorized access. This mobile phone was so difficult to crack. If she could not crack the mobile phone, Ali did not have the right to install the eavesdropping location tracking software into Soo-Yun's mobile phone. Now, everything was ready except for the east wind. If the east wind did not blow, today's matter would not be considered solved. Ali was quite confident in her perfect plan. If it failed, how could she raise her head in front of Ares and the others? Ali did not believe in heresy. She continued to search for new ways to crack the mobile phone. The two programs on the computer were developed by people with high IQ. They had never failed Ali before. Ali believed that with two approaches, she would definitely be able to crack Soo-Yun's mobile phone successfully. However, half an hour later, two windows popped up on Ali's computer. Both of them were flashing red, unauthorized access. Unauthorized access. Unauthorized access. Unauthorized access. Nothing. Damn mobile phone. Ali slammed the table angrily. What could she do to crack the mobile phone's access? This was just an ordinary mobile phone. There was nothing special about it. North knows, what are you doing? Just when Ali was having a headache over the mobile phone, Soo-Yun's voice suddenly came from behind her. Buzz. Ali's mind went blank. What the hell was going on? Wasn't Soo-Yun already knocked out by her? Today was really strange. The invincible supercomputer could crack any program, but today, it was defeated by a small mobile phone. The bathroom was sprayed with soul-dispersing water, and Soo-Yun drank champagne that was infused with soul-dispersing water. Any one of these was enough to make a person sleep for a day and a night. However, Soo-Yun suddenly woke up. Busy North knows, I'm waiting for you. When will you be done? Soo-Yun smiled slightly. Are you more interested in my mobile phone than my kiss? Hurry up. Otherwise, the bed will be cold. Ali turned around. Her eyes were filled with killing intent. When did you wake up? I didn't sleep at all. Soo-Yun shrugged. You were the one who said a bunch of strange things to yourself. When I was about to say something, I saw you changing. It was such a beautiful scene, and I didn't want to ruin it, so I just looked at it. Who knew that you would play on the computer after changing your clothes? Are you too addicted to the internet? Ali's mouth twitched. This guy, I thought you turned on the computer to play ill. However, you are only interested in my mobile phone. If you are really interested, you can call me. I have the access. Soo-Yun, the back-end password of this mobile phone is just a cover. There is no password at all. The password is my fingerprint. If you call me, I can just press it on the phone. There is no need to spend so much effort. You know everything. The killing intent on Ali's body became stronger and stronger. Soo-Yun shook his head. I don't know anything. Ali slowly got up. Okay. Since you don't know anything, then let me tell you slowly. I will let you know little by little. With such a strong killing intent, how could Soo-Yun just sit there and wait for death? He wrapped the towel around his waist tightly and stood up from the bed. Didn't you want to fight 300 rounds? I am not a little chick. I know everything. I don't need you to teach me. As for the other matters of the 12 heavenly stars, I am not interested in knowing. Ali's face changed. The plan that she thought was perfect had already been broken by Soo-Yun. He even knew her identity. What else did he not know? Since that was the case, then don't blame her for being impolite. The matter had already been exposed. She could only use force to end it. She wanted to see how scary this Yen Long, whom even Douglas said was scary, was. Chapter 1284. Ellie was furious. The shame of being played made her very dissatisfied. She had always been the one scheming against others. She had never let others scheme against her like this. Ellie couldn't accept the sense of defeat. At this moment, she even wanted to kill Soo-Yun. However, Ellie knew that Soo-Yun couldn't be killed. If Soo-Yun died, it would inevitably attract the attention of the authorities in Huaxia. This would have a great impact on their ultimate goal. This was something that couldn't be allowed to happen. What are you talking about? I don't understand what you mean. Ellie said, what I mean is, I don't know what you're talking about. Then what are you doing with my phone? Soo-Yun said, is there anything in my phone worth your effort to decode? Actually, I'm in the United States, in the mobile phone industry. I want to open up the things in your phone and take a look. Then, I'll bring it back and study it. I'll learn from everyone's experience and make an innovative phone. Ellie's lie was made up too suddenly. There was no time to think about it. This lie was too ridiculous. Soo-Yun touched his chin. Didn't Master Chiao use his iPhone to conquer the United States before he died? Do you still need to use other phones? Even if you want to make counterfeit phones, it should be us who steal them from you. Do you see that Huaxia doesn't lack anything? We have all kinds of phones. For 1,000 yuan, you won't lose out or be cheated. You can buy a big octa-core phone. Your country's counterfeit industry is too far behind. Don't chase after it. It's meaningless. Besides, you're ahead of us in every industry. Don't fight with us for the counterfeit business. Su Yun said, you should focus your work on the military. Am I right? You might have misunderstood me. Ellie gradually calmed down. She wanted to redeem herself in front of Su Yun. This matter had to be resolved as soon as possible. I admit that I'm a little scheming, but I didn't do anything. I'll return the phone to you now. Let's just consider it as a debt. Let's write it off. Su Yun's face was bitter. Big sister, are you too confident in your own brain or underestimating my IQ? Studying mobile phones? Even if you go to the most expensive places like mobile, you'll only get a few thousand yuan for the most classy iPhone, right? Ellie was stunned. Was the iPhone so expensive? It was only 200 to 300 USD in the United States. It was not even worth as much as a pair of Magic Sound headphones. Why was it considered a luxury item in Huaxia? How strange. This luxurious Shangri-La suite costs 16,000 yuan a night, right? If I didn't guess wrong, the champagne I just drank should be the 1943 Moët and Hyatt 2nd Century Royal Dry Collection champagne. A bottle should cost 800 to 900 pounds, right? Also, the rose petals in the bathtub seem to be a special offering of the British royal family. The value of the small bag is no less than 600 pounds. You spent over 30,000 renminbi on me in one night just to study my Chinese-made machine that is only selling for a few hundred RMB on the market? Su Yun shook his head. Was your head hit by a door and soaked in water, or was it kicked by a donkey? You even pooped? Ellie looked a little embarrassed. She couldn't justify herself at all. Is this the level of your CIA's lying? Su Yun pointed out the matter again. Don't make it up, don't act, and don't make a fuss. I didn't intend to run into you today and expose you for following me, but who knew? You didn't have eyes and insisted on sticking to me. You're the one who's looking for trouble. What can I do? Ellie stopped quibbling. You exposed me. What can you do to me? I'm standing right here. What can you do to me? Su Yun rubbed his hands and laughed mischievously. What can I do to you? You made me hot. Of course, I'll find you to vent my fire first. Otherwise, what can I do? I can't set up a small tent and really fight with you for 300 rounds, right? I won't be able to take it. It's good that you know you can't take it. As soon as Ellie finished speaking, she suddenly threw out a capsule-shaped thing in her hand. Before Su Yun could react to what it was, the capsule exploded with a bang. A burst of thick black smoke instantly surrounded the whole room. Su Yun was choked and coughed violently. How could he catch her when he couldn't even see her hair? Su Yun rushed to the window based on his memory and quickly opened the window. The black smoke in the room was sucked out through the open window. After about 10 seconds, the room could be seen clearly again. At this time, there was no one. Not only was there no one, even the computer and Su Yun's mobile phone were gone. This Ellie didn't forget to take things with her even when she was running away. She was really someone who wasn't afraid of losing things when she went out. It was fine if she just took the computer away, but she also took it away while she was at it. Su Yun's mobile phone was taken away. Would Su Yun be willing to do this? It was a few hundred yuan. Of course, Su Yun couldn't just let it go. He took his own clothes and put them on slowly. Just as he pulled up the zipper of the front door, Ellie slowly retreated into the room. Of course, she didn't do it willingly. She wanted to escape. However, just as she ran out of the room, she was hit in the throat with something unknown. The pain made her open her mouth uncontrollably. At this moment, something flew into her mouth, and the spiciness instantly made her throat dry up. It was as if she was on fire. It was painful. It was very painful. After receiving Su Yun's message, Lin Gu bought 2 insanely spicy chicken wings and rushed to the door of Shangri-La room 1806. He really didn't expect that he didn't come in vain. Lin Gu had always thought that Brother Yun would be able to settle this matter alone. However, after a dull thud, the door opened, and a woman jumped out from the black smoke. Without thinking, Lin Ji's karate chop landed on the woman's throat. He had no idea what was going through his mind at that moment, but he just casually chopped off the bone of the insanely spicy chicken wing that he had just finished. He just stuffed the chicken wing into the woman's mouth. This insanely spicy chicken wing definitely lived up to its name. It was soaked in chemical solution. The spiciness was not something that humans could accept. Only Lin Gu, who usually ate dried chili as a snack to refresh himself, could eat it. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to swallow this thing. They wouldn't even be able to say anything if they knew how spicy it was. You. What did you feed me? Ellie sounded a little panicked. Lin Gu casually made up a story. This is the legendary half-falling step with a smile. If you dare to laugh or take a big step, you will immediately die. It's definitely a popular item at home. You. Of course, Ellie didn't believe this person's nonsense. However, she remembered Douglas's teachings. In Huaxia, anything could happen. One couldn't be careless under any circumstances. Huaxia had been famous for thousands of years. Since ancient times, the Jianghu was filled with all kinds of legendary figures. There was the Tang sect that was good at using hidden weapons, the Xiaoyao sect that was good at divination, the Shaolin temple that was invincible, and the Xingqiu sect that played with poison to the extreme. Could it be that this person was from the Xingqiu sect? You can choose not to believe me, or you can choose to be obedient and move back bit by bit. As Lin Gu spoke, he took out the chewing gum that he hadn't thrown away in time. There's only one antidote. If you want it, cooperate with me. Don't. You want to snatch it? You're already one step away from me. If you want to try the power of this half-falling step with a smile, then come and try it. Seeing Ellie's pale face, Lin Gu added, Don't say I didn't warn you. You'll die a horrible death. You'll bleed from all 7 orifices and pus will flow from all over your body. Ugh. It's disgusting. Therefore, when the black smoke in the room dissipated, Ellie moved back bit by bit. She didn't dare to take the risk, so she had no choice. As soon as the two of them entered the room, Lin Gu closed the door and threw the chewing gum to Ellie. Ellie opened it and frowned. What's this? Chapter 1285. Hearing that the thing in her hand was actually the leftovers, Ellie's obsession with cleanliness almost broke down. These people were so cunning. Their words were so convincing that she thought they were from the Xingqiu faction. At this time, Su Yun was already fully dressed, and with Lin Gu as her helper, Ellie only needed to use her brain to know that she had no chance of winning. She had heard about Su Yun's strength before she came to Huaxia. Yen Long had completed too many S-level missions in Huaxia. It was unbelievable. His individual combat ability was top-notch. Even if it was a one-on-one battle, Ellie was no match for him. Since the person beside Su Yun could chop Ellie's throat with a karate chop, Ellie knew that the other party must be very strong. It wasn't easy to fight any one of them one-on-one, not to mention the fact that 2 fists couldn't fight 4 hands at the same time. Therefore, Ellie's chances of escaping were slim. The only thing she could do was to face the 2 people in front of her with vigilance. She didn't dare to be careless at all. I wanted to play with you. Su Yun smiled. I really wanted to see how good you people from the CIA are. How can you play tricks in Huaxia? I didn't expect you to give me a surprise so soon. You better let me go, Ellie said coldly. Or else what? Lin Gu snorted in disdain. Big sister, please look at your situation before you threaten us, okay? Or else what? Don't talk about my brother. If you can escape from me, I'll write my surname in reverse. Su Yun was speechless. F***K, the word Lin was still Lin if it was written in reverse. It was just a combination of 2 moos. This was the same logic as the person surnamed Tian saying that he would write his surname in circles. Do you think I'm the only one in Huaxia? Ellie said. If you don't let me go today, our people won't let you go. If a full-scale war really breaks out, do you think you have any advantage? Big sister, Don't make it sound like you 12 heavenly stars will obediently be bastards if I let you go. Since you're here, it means you're here to make things difficult for me. Whether I let you go today or not, you won't let me go. Su Yun naturally understood such a simple logic. If you're in my hands, I'll still have some initiative, right? Ellie's mouth twitched. She didn't know how to convince this guy. What should she do now? Since he couldn't resist, could it be that he had no choice but to surrender? Then wouldn't all her plans be ruined? At that time, all the responsibility would be on her shoulders. How would she explain it to the Bureau? If she had known this would happen, she would not have been in the limelight. She would have listened to Aries' arrangements. Even if something went wrong, she would not have ended up in this isolated and helpless state. Let me analyze it for you. You want to tamper with my phone, then use the opportunity when I'm in contact with Matthew to trace the source of Matthew's signal. Then, you'll go and capture him without anyone knowing. Su Yun, this way, you can avoid a direct confrontation with me and complete your mission on Huaxia. It's really a smart idea. Humph. Ellie sneered. So what if it's smart? I'm still in your hands now. Su Yun smiled slightly. Do you know why? Actually, even if I'm really in your hands today, you can still crack my phone's permissions and install invisible software that can trace the source of the signal. You still won't be able to find Matthew's location. Ever since Norden revealed the dirty things you guys did you think that we wouldn't make preparations for it? After the Prism Gate, any country would make adjustments to this matter. Our Huaxia doesn't lack talents. It's still possible to block surveillance signals like yours. Ellie was still a little unwilling to believe it. Could Huaxia really do that? Don't look at us with such a doubtful expression. Let me tell you, Huaxia people are the smartest people in the world. Lin Gu said, how much research and development do you think is done by you Americans? Most of it is done by us Chinese. Especially in a place like Silicon Valley where only technological talents can survive. How many Chinese are there? Open your eyes and see for yourself. So what if they're Chinese? They're Americans. Ailey said, since they chose to stay in the United States, it means that they prefer the United States, not China. Am I right about that? Don't be so sure. Not all Huaxia people worship foreign things. Su Yun said, look at the world clearly. Don't be a frog at the bottom of a well. Huaxia still has many shortcomings, but how many of them are the world's number one? Don't be unconvinced. It's not just our population that Huaxia is the world's number one. Our steel production is the world's number one, surpassing the second, third, and fourth combined. Our cement production is the world's number one, accounting for half of the world's total production. Our textile production is the world's number one, providing 4 pieces of clothing per person every year. Su Yun said number one in one breath, but these number ones were more or less sarcastic. This meant that Huaxia's energy consumption, pollution, and mining disasters would be the world's number one. However, after saying these angry words, what he said next was serious pride. Our television, refrigerator, air conditioner, cars, motorcycles, and all kinds of other things are number one. Our agricultural production is also number one in the world. So what? You're still not as strong as America. We're the world's number one country, no one can deny this. Ellie snorted. No matter how many number ones you have, they can't compare to our number one military power. So you know this too. Su Yun touched his chin. Then I don't need to trouble myself to tell you more. You've already said so. Only when we become the number one military power will you obediently lie down for us. It's even more impossible for me to let Matthew be taken away by the 12 heavenly stars. Ellie gritted her teeth. If you want to negotiate, then I'll take you to my boss. Then you'll annihilate me with numbers? Su Yun shook his head. I've already said that I'm not a kindergarten student. I'm not that easy to fool. Before you give up completely, I'm afraid you'll have to suffer. What do you want to do? Ellie glared. Su Yun glanced over, and Lin Gu directly slashed at the back of Ellie's neck. Ellie was already prepared and quickly dodged to the side. She definitely couldn't fall into their hands. Losing face was a small matter. Ruining the entire mission plan was a big deal. However, she was still outnumbered. After dodging Lin Ji's attack, she didn't have the ability to dodge Su Yun's attack. Ellie only felt pain at the back of her neck. She fell to the ground with a plop. Her vision turned black and she couldn't see anything. Although he couldn't solve the problem by killing one of the 12 heavenly stars, he could do it one by one. As long as they were willing to continue causing trouble, Su Yun was willing to accompany them to the end. "Brother, we can't hide this. I'm afraid the 12 heavenly stars will notice and take action tomorrow. I think we should get Sister Shuang and the others to move first." Lin Gu said, "The CIA is also the kind of people who do things by hook or by crook. If we capture one of them, they will definitely use the same method to deal with us." Su Yun nodded. It was indeed as Lin Gu said. It was very necessary for all those who didn't have the ability to fight to be moved immediately. Chapter 1286. Su Yun had underestimated the other party. When Su Yun and Lin Gu brought Ailey back to Xing Kai Hotel, they realized that Ailey was just a cover. The other party's trick of luring the tiger away from the mountain was too skillful. Ruan Qingxuang's head was hit and she was unconscious. Chou Yun and Yi Fala were seriously injured and couldn't get up. Chong, Nanqing's 3 tigers, Little Northeast by Liang and the rest were all injured to varying degrees. Even Li Chengdu, who was born with monstrous strength, had his arms broken. The only one who wasn't injured was Dan Jiahao from the security department. He received a call from his brother, Dan Hongning. When he brought people up, the situation was already like this. The other party had long since disappeared without a trace. After those people left, Guagua also disappeared. Obviously, the other party's goal was very direct. It was Guagua. But wasn't the 12 heavenly stars' goal Matthew? How could it be related to Guagua? Su Yun had never thought of this. What was the other party's motive for doing this? After Qin Wan received LV Wenny's notice, she quickly rushed back. Ever since she arrived in Shenzhen, Qin Wan devoted herself to work. She tried to use work to numb her feelings for Su Yun. This way, she could indeed forget a lot of things that were troubling her. In addition, Su Yun was very busy every day. Sister Shuang also had to take care of work in Qingdao. Guagua was in boarding school 5 days a week. Therefore, Qin Wan rarely stayed in the hotel. She always stayed in the dormitory. Although she was working overtime today because of a smashing incident at the airport, when she heard that such a big thing happened in the hotel, she immediately rushed back. Through her own connections, she invited the best neurologist and surgeon in Shenzhen. Sometimes, these experts and professors had a lot of face. It was very difficult to invite them. Even if you were rich, you might not be able to invite them. However, it was different for Qin Wan who was a civil servant. She was the youngest deputy director in Shenzhen. The son of the director of Shenzhen Hospital had also been admitted to the Public Security Bureau. It had been 2 years, and he had just become a deputy section chief. This was quite good progress, but compared with Qin Wan-er's rapid progress, it was nothing. Therefore, the dean of Shenzhen Hospital had purposely contacted Qin Wan-er a few times and maintained their relationship. Even the dean of Shenzhen Hospital wanted to curry favor with this young cadre. Naturally, these specialist directors were also very polite to Qin Wan-er. Anyone with a bit of intelligence could see that the dean liked Deputy Director Qin and wanted her to be his daughter-in-law. After all, young people were about the same age. As for their family background, Qin Wan-er could climb to this position at such a young age. Naturally, she was very powerful. But then again, her family was not bad. They had 3 apartments in Shenzhen. That was considered a super well-off family, right? Everyone was well aware of this. Therefore, when the people of Shenzhen Hospital received a call from Deputy Director Qin, they had to give her face. Even though it was very late now and they were all sleeping soundly, they immediately went to the hospital to get emergency supplies and rushed to Xinkai Hotel. Fortunately, Ruan Qingxuang's injury was not serious. Most of the reason for her coma was because she was too frightened. Chong and little Dong Bei had external injuries and should be hospitalized. Especially Li Moran, his 2 arms had to be fixed with plaster as soon as possible. Cho Yun and Yi Fala's injuries were really not something that the specialists could cure in a short time. They could only ask Su Yun to help them seal their acupuncture points so that their injured meridians would not be disturbed. The rest depended on Su Yun and Lin Ji's internal strength to help them consolidate. Then, they would hand it over to Su Yun to solve the problem with the elixirs. After everything was settled, Qin Wan also sent away the confused specialists. When these specialists came, they did not expect these injured people to be so seriously injured. However, they did not ask for the reason. Deputy Director Qin did not say anything. However, according to their guess, with so many external injuries and a concussion in the head, could it be that the elevator had fallen? Now that there were no outsiders, Su Yun dragged the unconscious Ellie in front of him. The 2 silver needles in his hand directly pierced 2 acupuncture points on the left side of Ellie's neck. Ellie's body seemed to have been electrocuted. She, who was originally in a severe coma, shuddered and woke up. When she woke up, Ellie wanted to make a move. However, before she could swing her fist, she was shocked by the powerful pressure that came roaring over. She suspected that the Su Yun in front of her was not the same person as the previous one. Wasn't he too strong? This was much stronger than what Ellie had expected. This kind of pressure was definitely not inferior to any of the 12 heavenly stars. How strong was this Yen Long? Ellie almost did not dare to guess. Su Yun, who was enraged, had indeed erupted with an even stronger pressure than before. The level of this kind of pressure had clearly exceeded the level of a grandmaster. That kind of domineering aura was innate. Many people would call this domineering aura the king's aura in novels. Once it was released, it would always make people tremble. And this kind of aura really existed. Who could say that Qin Shi Huang, who unified the chaotic world, did not have this kind of domineering aura? Who dared to say that Xiang Yu, who committed suicide in the Wu River, did not have this kind of domineering aura? A person who could become a leader was definitely not some kind of dog-shit luck. Adolf Hitler was the 3rd child born from the 3rd marriage of a small customs clerk in the Austro-Hungarian Empire. When he was 14 years old, Hitler experienced great family changes. His father suddenly died of lung hemorrhage. 4 years later, his mother died of breast cancer. After his parents died, Hitler's life became more and more difficult. Later, because of the conscription of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which he hated, he fled to Munich. He had no choice but to wander to the streets of Vienna to beg. He made a living by selling paintings. Sometimes, he was hired to sweep the snow, carry luggage. How could such a person become the head of Germany during World War II, the supreme commander of Germany's armed forces? He was a person who had the aura of a king. This evil leader of the Nazi Party, the core figure of the genocide, was still talked about by many people and sighed with emotion because of his domineering aura. However, he was guilty of many crimes and brought immeasurable losses and disasters to the entire world. He planned and started World War II, massacred more than 6 million Jews, oppressed the people of the occupied areas and countries, so he would always be a villain in people's hearts. Of course, he was not the only person who had this kind of domineering aura. There were too many people like him in the world, and he was just a maverick existence. Su Yun also had this kind of domineering aura. When he entered the Dragon Brigade when he was young, Wan Guangxiao and Wang Yi could already see this aura on him, so they did not need to make any arrangements. The children in the same batch as Su Yun all liked him to be the leader. This was still the case until now. Back then, Zhang Taisui handed Su Yun to Wang Yi because he sensed the domineering aura on Su Yun. Dragons gave birth to dragons and phoenixes gave birth to phoenixes. Zhang Taisui knew that the son of that man would definitely be an extraordinary person, but he needed to be restrained and disciplined. Otherwise, he might end up like his father. That was why Su Yun was sent to the Dragon Brigade. It was as if all of this was destined by fate. Since Su Yun began to use his own pressure, he became more and more skilled at it. His pressure would naturally integrate with the domineering aura. This was why the pressure released by Su Yun was terrible. No one would believe that a master of the supreme power realm could release such a level of pressure. Ellie even began to be out of breath. At this moment, there was only one word in her mind: regret. However, there was no medicine for regret in the world. She had to bear the consequences of what she had done. Where are the others except for you? Su Yun did not show any mercy to Ellie. He lifted her up in the air and smashed her against the wall. Chapter 1287. The dispute among the 12 heavenly stars had reached its climax. Not everyone agreed with Ares' plan, so Ares did not plan to reveal the entire plan from the beginning. However, now that things had reached this point, he had no choice but to reveal the entire plan. After all, things had already happened. If he didn't explain himself, it would be unreasonable. Especially Leo and a few other hot-tempered guys, they definitely couldn't sit still. Everyone knew that the Leo star, Gary, adored Ellie. Now that Ellie was used as bait by the Ares star, Gary would definitely demand an explanation from Peter. Although the little girl that the other side cared about was already in their hands, Ellie had completely fallen. Although both sides hadn't met yet, they were evenly matched. Peter, you have to give us an explanation now. You planned this from the start. Don't you feel guilty for using Ellie like this? Leo's eyes widened. You're the commander-in-chief. That's right, we all acknowledge and approve of it. This is an appointment given to you by Commander Douglas. We have to follow it unconditionally. But before you make any decisions, can you not treat us like fools? Ares knew that things would develop like this. There would definitely be people dissatisfied with his actions. But even if everyone opposed him, as long as it was a decision that was beneficial to the mission, he would still persist. Peter knew very well that the reason Douglas made him the commander-in-chief was because of his personality. Only this kind of person was suitable to be a leader. He would do anything to achieve his goals. As long as he could win this game of chess, no matter if you were a pawn or a cannon, you would be a pawn for the bigger picture. In the eyes of this kind of person, there was only the final victory. It didn't matter how dirty the process was. This was also the reason why Ares wasn't liked by the other 12 heavenly stars. Sometimes, the way he did things was too dirty. He would even use his own people. For example, this time, he used Ellie. When Ellie proposed her conditions, Ares knew that Ellie would definitely act on her own. He knew their personalities too well. At that time, no one believed that Peter would agree to Ellie's request. However, what Peter did shocked everyone. No one expected that he would agree to Ellie's condition. Now, everyone suddenly realized that Peter had another purpose. He agreed to Ellie's request because he wanted to use Ellie as a chess piece in his game of chess, and Ellie was the chess piece that would be abandoned. That was why he agreed so readily. Human nature was definitely the most terrifying thing. Human nature was hard to understand and hard to guess. Especially when it was reflected at the critical moment, the horror of human nature would be displayed incisively and vividly. Obviously, Peter was a person who could bring out the evilness of human nature to the fullest. From the very beginning, he was certain that Ellie had her own plans. She was eager to prove herself in front of Douglas, in front of the 12 stars, and even more so in front of the CIA. She wanted to prove her personal strength. Therefore, Peter concluded that Ellie would deal with Su Yun herself. Before they came out, Douglas had said many times that Su Yun was definitely not an easy person to deal with. Peter did not admit that he was overestimating the enemy's morale and diminishing his own prestige. Su Yun would definitely be able to see through some of their little tricks. Ellie's little tricks would definitely be exposed by Su Yun, and Su Yun would definitely take her down. At that time, even the most confident person would transfer their most capable assistant to their side in order to have a 100% success rate. Double insurance was the safest. In this way, as long as Ellie came into contact with Su Yun would definitely call for his most powerful helpers. At that time, those people around Su Yun would be at their weakest, and it would be advantageous for them to do things that would benefit them. At the very beginning, Peter had conducted a very detailed investigation on Su Yun. He had investigated everyone around Su Yun, so Peter knew very well what Su Yun cared about the most and who he cared about the most. And the easiest target for them to make a move on was definitely the young Guagua. Children were the most vulnerable to threats and the easiest to make Su Yun worry. Unlike adults who would say things like, "Don't worry about me," children would only say things like, "Don't worry about me." Children would only say that they were afraid and wanted to be hugged and saved. The main reason was that Peter's ultimate goal was still Kevin Matthew. Capturing 10 hostages was the same as capturing one. Of course, it was easier to control a child. He had a child that Su Yun cared about the most in his hands, so he was not worried that Su Yun would dare to do anything to Ellie. "Don't worry, Ellie will be fine. Su Yun will definitely not dare to act rashly," Peter said calmly. "As long as this child is in our hands, Su Yun will have some scruples. This child is very important to him. I believe that you have all seen the information that I have investigated before. So don't worry, everything is under my control. There won't be any mistakes." "I'm afraid that's just your wishful thinking. Haven't you seen a movie called The Top 10 Tortures of the Qing Dynasty?" Gary was still glaring angrily. "The Hua Xia people's torture methods are definitely not weaker than ours. If anything happens to Ellie, humph. You see what Officer Douglas will do to you." Peter glanced at Gary coldly. Gary had made a slip of the tongue and almost said that he would be punished by Peter. "I believe that you know better than anyone else what kind of person Officer Douglas is. As long as we can achieve the set goal and complete the task that we need to complete, any price is worth it. Think carefully about what position we are in. For the country, any sacrifice is necessary. Do you understand?" This was the reason why Peter could be the leader. This was the reason why Douglas trusted Peter. He would do anything for the country, even if it meant sacrificing himself. Not to mention sacrificing the other members. The matter of Su Yun taking away Kevin Matthew was too important to the upper echelons of the United States government, especially the military. The 12 heavenly stars were the trump card of the CIA. There was no reason or excuse for them to fail this mission. "Then what do you think our next step should be?" Scorpio, who always liked to play dirty, showed a cruel smile. "Use this child in exchange for him? Ha ha ha. If it's a one-for-one exchange, this child can only be exchanged for Ellie. If we want to use this child to exchange for Kevin Matthew, what about Ellie?" "1 for 2, Peter said. "Believe me, this child is especially important to Yen Long and Su Yun. So, even if it's a 1 for 2 exchange, he will definitely do it. Don't be so idealistic, okay? 1 for 2. Leo snorted. "Do you think they will do such a loss-making trade? This child is important to them, but is Kevin Matthew not important to us? What if they use Kevin Matthew in exchange for one? Then do you want to exchange?" Aries Peter's face darkened, but his answer was quite firm. "Yes." "What about Ellie? Are we going to let them do whatever they want with her?" Gary roared. "Peter, have you never treated our lives as your own? We are indeed your subordinates, but we are not pawns that you can throw away whenever you want, right? The day you joined the CIA, you should have known that you would be sacrificing your life for the country at any time. You could face death at any time. These are all necessary conditions for you to join the CIA." Aries was also angry. "Gary, I'm warning you for the last time. Don't bring your personal feelings into the mission. In the mission, everyone here, including me, has the possibility of sacrificing themselves to complete the mission. Whether you accept it or not, this is the truth. But I don't agree with your way of doing things. Even if Ellie has to choose to sacrifice herself, she should make the choice herself, instead of passively being pushed out by you." Peter's body suddenly exploded with anger. "I am your commander-in-chief. Officer Douglas has given me orders. If anyone disobeys, kill without mercy. Gary, don't force me." "But that's Ellie." Leo clenched his fists. Chapter 1288. Under Su Yun's interrogation, the clueless Ellie finally understood. When she was trying to take down Su Yun by herself, Peter had changed his battle plan and strategy, and all of this had happened without informing her. Damn it! Ellie cursed in her heart. Peter didn't count on her at all. When she said she wanted to act according to her own wishes, Peter treated her as a strategically disposable chess piece. Peter knew from the beginning that she would fail, so he changed from the original conservative way to the current radical way. Although Peter was a cautious and conservative person, it didn't mean that he wouldn't change his way of doing things for the final result. It didn't mean that he wouldn't use the most despicable method. This kind of despicable method also proved Peter's caution to a certain extent. I didn't know they would do this. This has nothing to do with me. How would I know where they took the child? Ellie suppressed the anger in her heart and couldn't calm down for a long time. Su Yun's narrowed eyes were like a sharp sword. Don't the CIA's 12 stars have a unified battle plan? I'll ask you one last time. This was the last of Su Yun's patience. Ellie was almost completely suffocated by Su Yun's choking. She knew that the man in front of her had lost his last bit of patience. If she couldn't give him a satisfactory answer, he wouldn't be merciful. The words she could say with her last breath would be her last hope for survival. At this time, the struggle in her heart was incomparably painful. Ellie knew that from the day she joined the CIA and was named one of the 12 stars, Douglas had made it very clear to her that any sacrifice for the country was worth it. At certain times, even if she had to give up her own life, she had to think for the country's interests. Obviously, this was the certain times that Douglas had mentioned. Ellie could choose to give up her own life to fight for the country's interests. She could understand what Peter meant. Peter kidnapped the child in exchange for Kevin Matthew, and she was already a chess piece that Peter abandoned. She was sacrificed for the benefit of the country. If he could use her life to achieve his ultimate goal, Peter would not hesitate to do so. However, Ellie wasn't going to give up just like that. She was prepared to sacrifice herself for the benefit of the country, but she could not die in such a meaningless way. Since Peter had already decided to abandon her life, she could only save herself. No matter what, the kidnapped child was Peter's bargaining chip in exchange for Kevin Matthew. Whether she lived or died would not affect the overall situation. Whether she could survive or not, she could only rely on herself. As the bait to lure the tiger away from the mountain, she had already completed her mission. If you are them, since you chose me as the bait, then, will you still tell me the secret of where you are going to take the child? Ellie had difficulty breathing, and it was especially painful for her to speak. I believe that you will definitely not do that, because I am destined to be brought here by you, to force a confession out of me. No matter how tight my mouth is, they will not believe me. Su Yun's hand still did not loosen. If this continued, he believed that in less than a minute, Ellie would be able to go to hell with a black and white impermanence. Oh no, the Western people should believe in the god of death. If I tell you where the child is, I will just name a place. Ellie could barely hold on. But I really don't know. I won't tell you. Give me a way out. I will help you think of a way out. At this point, Ellie's face was completely pale due to lack of oxygen. She had reached her limit. If her body could not get enough oxygen, she would immediately enter into a state of shock. If she was in a state of shock and could not be rescued, she would only face a road to death. Su Yun finally released her grip on Ellie's neck at the last moment. Ellie took a deep breath and let out a strange cry. She was like a drowning person grasping at the last straw, desperately gasping for air in the room. The air that no one cared about in normal days suddenly became the most luxurious luxury in Ellie's eyes. Many people complained that God was unfair. Indeed, some people were born tall, rich, and handsome. They lived a life of drunken stupor every day. They had money that they could never spend and women that they could never play with. Some people were born fair, rich, and beautiful. They had new luxury bags that they could never finish carrying, and they had all kinds of handsome suitors. Some people were born to be losers. They were born poor and could even be said to be penniless. Some people were born to be left behind children. Some were even abandoned at birth. Not to mention money and material luxuries, they did not even have the most basic family affection and love. But the world was still fair. Those who did not have material things lived the same life as those who had material things. There were many precious things in the world that were free. Air, sunlight, they were things that anyone could have and enjoy. Anyone. Of course, if one had not reached Ellie's level, he or she would never realize how precious and luxurious air was. Without it, even living would be a problem. Su Yun did not kill Ellie in the end. It was not because he was protective of the fairer sex, but because he knew that this person was indeed useful. She was right. If he were those people, he would not tell a plan to an abandoned chess piece. She would not know where Guagua was taken to. What can you do? Su Yun tried to calm himself down. Emotional fluctuations had a huge impact on things. He needed to calm down and deal with these things calmly. You don't have a chance. I won't give you a chance either. Give me a reason to believe you. Give me a reason to spare your life. Everyone around Su Yun knew that Su Yun was really angry this time. None of them said a word. They quietly watched Su Yun deal with everything. Dragons have reverse scales. Those who touch them will die. Su Yun's reverse scale was using people around him to threaten him. Guagua was just a child. In the past, she was a target in the eyes of others. The few things that happened to her had already made Su Yun feel guilty. After all, Guagua called him Dad. Although there was no relationship between them, once this kind of relationship was formed, it was the same as a biological child. And this time, Guagua was once again involved in a struggle for no reason. The actions of the CIA's 12 heavenly stars disgusted him. Despicable people must be killed. I can get in touch with them. Ellie said. I can get in touch with them. Okay, Su Yun said. If you want to live, this is your only chance. Ellie nodded. She believed that by now, the satellite signal she used to contact the rest of the 12 heavenly stars must have been cut off by Peter. The only one who could contact Peter was that person. Wei Yishan. Wei Yishan is our spy. Wei Yishan had been in the corner of the room and did not dare to speak. When he suddenly heard Ellie say his name, he jumped up. Just now, he had also felt the terrifying and powerful aura of Su Yun. He was somewhat afraid of Su Yun. I'm not a real spy at all. I've already explained my situation to them. The reason why you're in our hands today is because I'm the one who gave you the go-ahead. I wanted to lure you out. Wei Yishan said angrily. This damned woman still wanted to sell him out in the end. Chapter 1289. Wei Yishan looked at Ellie with vigilance, then looked at Su Yun and said to him, Director Su, we can't believe this woman's words. If we try to let her get in touch with the people of the 12 heavenly stars, we can't guess what they will do. We can't trust her. Obviously, Ellie had been cut off by her own people and had become an abandoned chess piece. Wei Yishan, on the other hand, was still inextricably linked to Ares. If they wanted to get in touch with the 12 heavenly stars, Wei Yishan would have to make some decisions. Wei Yishan was afraid that this matter would require him to step in. Now, he had a taste of the Ares star of the 12 heavenly stars. That person's schemes were too heavy. He could even use his own people and push them into the fire pit. Who else could he not use and betray? Obviously, anyone could become a sacrifice for him to achieve his goal. This kind of person was the most terrifying kind of person in the world. If he could avoid dealing with this kind of person, then he would try his best to stay as far away as possible. When Ellie mentioned that he would be the contact between the two sides, Wei Yishan's first reaction was to evade. He didn't want to be a sacrifice for either side. This matter had nothing to do with him in the first place. Wei Yishan was now convinced of the saying, those who are unjust are doomed to destruction. A large part of the reason why he had fallen to his current state was because of his unjust deeds. All these years, his hypocritical life had allowed him to play with ease. His life was a big stage, a big stage for hypocrisy and insincerity. In his circle, everyone around him was so hypocritical. And his title of Zhonghui Juqing Laughing Mithraea was also illusory. When he was in his prime, he had thousands of people supporting him. Now that he had fallen, no one cared about him. In the past, his house was as busy as a marketplace, filled with distinguished friends. Now that the tree had fallen, the monkeys had scattered. It was definitely not easy for anyone to accept. Wei Yishan looked calm on the surface and accepted everything, but the struggle and entanglement in his heart was definitely unbearable for many people. Whether you believe me or not, this is the only way you can get in touch with them, right? Ali said, I only want to protect myself. Why would I play tricks with you? Even if I don't do anything, they will still contact me, right? Su Yun asked, I know better than anyone what the purpose of the CIA is. If your role is only to tell me how to get in touch with them, then there's no point in me keeping you. Ali was stunned. Indeed, Su Yun was right. I mean, I can help you do more than just contact them. Ellie stuttered in her panic. I can help you bring that child back. This was not something that could be casually said. However, among all the people present, only Ellie's words were convincing. What do you want to do? Su Yun suddenly lowered his voice. He had never thought of using Kevin Matthew to make a deal. Directly snatching Guagua back was Su Yun's only goal. That was Ellie's value. Only if she helped Su Yun on this point would Su Yun let her live. As long as I can get in touch with them. Ellie said tentatively. Wei Yishan was anxious. Boss Su, how can you trust her? Once she gets in touch with them, we can forget about getting her back. It's like throwing meat buns at a dog. There's no return. Then give her a reason why she has to come back. Su Yun sneered. He took out a bottle of something from his pocket and threw it to Lin Gu. Lin Gu did not say anything. He went forward and grabbed Ellie. Without hesitation, he poured the bottle of something that Su Yun gave him into Ellie's mouth. Ellie did not even have the chance to react. She swallowed the pills in the bottle. Her face changed instantly. An ominous premonition rose from the bottom of her heart. What did you feed me? This time, it's not can't stop at all. This time, if you don't get the antidote within 3 days, your liver and intestines will rupture and you will die suddenly. You will die painfully and embarrassedly. Lin Gu said, this pill is called the 3 days heartbreak grass. You were so useless just now. You ate all 3 pills in one go. Who knows if the effect will take effect in advance? Did she want to eat so many pills in one go? She didn't even know what was going on. You stuffed the bottle into her mouth. You forced her to eat it. 3 days heartbreak grass. Ellie's face turned pale. She had eaten 3 pills in one go. Could it be that this was the 1-day heartbreak grass to her? Would she die in a day? I don't believe you. Don't try to threaten me with this. Ellie snorted. She had long stopped believing that they were from the Xingqiu faction. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not. Su Yun said calmly, I can allow you to leave as long as Lord Wei can get in touch with your people and get their exact location. I will allow you to leave. Within 3 days, you have to think of a way. You can either bring the child back yourself or cooperate with us. Anyway, you only have 3 days. If you don't get any results in 3 days, it's your business what the 3 days heartbreak grass can do to you. It has nothing to do with me. What do you mean? Ellie's eyes widened. She did not believe that Su Yun would allow her to leave. Don't you understand? You can go your own way. Whether you live or die has nothing to do with us. Lin Gu explained, you'll be safe for the next 3 days. It's your own life. You can bet on whether we're fooling you or not. If you're sincere about cooperating with us, bring the child back within 3 days. We'll give you the antidote and you'll be safe. If you don't come back within 3 days, we'll take it that you fooled us. However, you'll have to try the 3 days heartbreak grass for yourself to see how effective it is. Ellie bit her lower lip. I don't believe you. It's up to you whether you believe me or not. I'm not discussing anything with you, Su-Yun said. We're cooperating. I believe you now and I'll let you go this time. If you don't believe me, you can leave and pretend that nothing happened. Cooperate or die. It's up to you. Lin Gu looked at Ellie seriously. If I were you, I definitely wouldn't believe that there would be someone in this world who would be so kind as to let you eat, can't stop, twice. Ellie was trembling all over. Fear invaded her whole body. After all, she was a woman. She felt as if ants were biting her whole body when she thought about the scene of her liver and intestines being torn apart. She was more afraid of the disgusting and painful torture than of death. This was the reality that Ellie could not accept. You only have one chance. Think about it carefully. Su-Yun said at last, trust is mutual. Ellie even took a deep breath and trembled a little. Okay. I will definitely cooperate with you. But, before that, Wei Yishan has to contact them. Otherwise, I won't be able to find them. I'm already meaningless to them. You don't need to worry about things here. Su-Yun said and turned back to look at Wei Yishan. Lord Wei, let's go to your room to talk. Wei Yishan's scalp went numb. He was afraid that he really couldn't avoid this matter. Forget it, forget it. Who asked him to have such a life? Since this matter had already happened to him, it was impossible for him to stop halfway. Chapter 1290. Wei Yishan knew that he couldn't avoid what was coming. He didn't need Su-Yun to explain too much to him. I know what I should do. Wei Yishan nodded. I'll do my best to make them believe me. Lord Wei, I know you don't want to do this, and you don't want to do it. Su-Yun said, but I still want to force you. I don't have the patience to wait for those Americans to contact me, so I have to trouble you. Wei Yishan smiled faintly. I can understand. I have children too. If I were you, I'd be even more impatient than you. I only have one life. It doesn't matter if I lose it. Ha ha ha. But I have a request. Can you promise me, CEO Su? Su-Yun was stunned. He felt as if Wei Yishan was going to the execution ground. Lord Wei, we just need to be careful. There won't be any danger. I know that. But it's better to be safe than sorry. Wei Yishan said, I'm not afraid that you'll laugh at me. My son is 20 this year. He's been living in Europe with his mother. We rarely contact each other. I'm only responsible for giving them money and material things. I've never cared about anything else. Su-Yun raised his eyebrows. Did Wei Yishan have a will for him to pass on? Sure enough, Wei Yishan really did take out a sealed envelope from his luggage. This envelope contains all of my assets and my will. If anything happens to me, I believe CEO Su can help me. Then tell them that if they return to China, they can come to Shinkai Hotel to get these things. I can keep them for you. Su-Yun said, we're not at a disadvantage now. Lord Wei, you don't have to make such a long-term plan. Wei Yishan shook his head. It's not long-term at all. CEO Su, I'm not giving this to you just for you to pass it to them. My wife has spoiled my son. He's 20 years old and doesn't know how to do anything. He only knows how to complain about this and that. Sigh. Wei Yishan let out a long sigh. When they saw that he had become a civil servant, they said that he had used his connections. When they saw that his company had made a fortune, they said that he had broken the rules and got his money improperly. Even if one were to read a web novel online, they would scold the author for writing dog sh*t. How could there be so many people reading it? In fact, he was the real piece of trash. It was not easy for him to even figure out the punctuation marks. But you're always biting off more than you can chew. Damn, with such a son, why isn't Wei Yishan dead yet? Su-Yun was a little puzzled. I don't want my son to squander away all of his family's wealth after I die. I don't want him to live like a stray dog without any dreams or goals, Wei Yishan said. I hope that Boss Su can help him. Su-Yun hurriedly waved his hand. He didn't have that ability. Even if he was given a piece of rotten wood, he could still carve it a few times. If he was given a piece of trash, then even the gods wouldn't be able to save him. Lord Wei, you think too highly of me. I'm not at that level, Su Yun said. Your child still needs you to educate him personally. Even if it's for your son, you have to be careful. Wei Yishan smiled bitterly. If I could educate him well, I wouldn't have asked Boss Su for help. From now on, cut off all financial and material support for them, Su Yun said. He will naturally come back to you to learn life experience. Wei Yishan's face was full of helplessness. In 10 days, it would be time for him to pay his wife and child living expenses. 2 million yuan every 2 months. For so many years, the price had been rising and had never fallen. If he didn't send the money in 10 days, he really didn't know how his wife and son would react. No matter what, I'll leave this to you. Wei Yishan handed the entire envelope to Su Yun. I trust you. Su Yun nodded. Okay. Su Yun really didn't know what Wei Yishan was thinking right now, but his attitude of facing death with equanimity really made Su Yun sigh. It was as if he was forcing Wei Yishan to die. But Su Yun really didn't mean that. He believed that Wei Yishan could solve it. The two discussed for a long time in Wei Yishan's room before Su Yun left. It was already past 3 in the morning. Wei Yishan dialed the number that Peter had left for him on planet Aries when the sun had just risen. Wei Yishan breathed a sigh of relief when he heard that the call was still connected. 10 seconds later, the other party picked up the phone, but he didn't say a word. After a few seconds of silence, Wei Yishan spoke first. Your people are in Su Yun's hands. Do you know about this? What do you think? Planet Aries Peter said lightly. If you didn't use your own people, you wouldn't have been able to take the child away from the hotel so easily. Am I right? Wei Yishan said, I really didn't expect you to do this. Peter didn't feel sorry for what he did at all. Actually, I didn't expect things to develop to this point. But there's no other way. Many things don't go according to the established plan. Don't you Huaxia people also say that plans can't keep up with changes? But aren't you changing a little too quickly? You put me in danger now. Wei Yishan said, if they become suspicious, I'll definitely be the first person to be killed. You're not in danger, so you can say that plans can't keep up with changes. Peter smiled slightly. Buddha Wei, what you did last night was indeed a meritorious deed. If you have any requests or conditions, you can tell me. I understand why you called. You won't be short of the credit. Just tell me. As long as I can give you something, I'll promise you. Don't give me that. I didn't contact you to ask for a reward. Wei Yishan said, I don't lack anything that you can have. Where are you now? I'm going to find you. I want to seek protection. If I stay by Su Yun's side, I'll die a horrible death sooner or later. How can that be? You're his friend. You can tell each other everything. Hey, how can he do anything to you? Planet Aries Peter joked. You asked me to get close to him. Now that I've gotten close to him and helped you get information, you say this again. Humph, you're really fickle. It seems that I've trusted the wrong person. Peter said, Buddha Wei, you're making things difficult for me. I didn't say that I didn't trust you, but I'm afraid that the walls have ears. If I tell you where I am, it'll be very dangerous. You should understand me, right? Wei Yishan snorted. Then what about her? Where are your people? Just left her here for Su Yun to deal with? She'll die. If she had followed my conservative plan from the beginning, I can guarantee that she wouldn't have died. Peter said, but later, she changed the plan without permission. So, she has to bear all the consequences alone. After a while, Peter said seriously, people always have to learn to bear their own responsibilities. If someone always cleans up his ass for him when he does something wrong, then he will never learn to bear the consequences. He will never understand the principle of being cautious. Wei Yishan was stunned. It seemed that his son didn't learn to bear his own responsibilities. That was why he was such a useless and disrespectful piece of trash. He didn't expect a foreigner to know more than him. This made him feel quite frustrated as a father. Chapter 1291. Hearing Wei Yishan's words, an elusive smile appeared on Planet Aries Peter's face. Buddha Wei, you are indeed my good friend. You can think of me at the most critical moment. Hey. Well, since you have asked, I will definitely protect you. During the day. Forget it. Let's make an appointment to meet at night. After 10 p.m., I will wait for you at the Starbucks on Yanjiang Avenue. Okay. Wei Yishan was slightly excited. He couldn't wait. If he didn't deal with the 12 heavenly stars, he wouldn't be able to sleep well. He had enough of this kind of life. After hanging up the phone with Wei Yishan, the smile on Peter's face became even colder. Humph, even Ellie could be captured. Unless Su Yun was an idiot, he wouldn't be able to see that Wei Yishan was a mole planted by them. If Wei Yishan was really one of them, he would probably be under Su Yun's control. Peter said to meet after 10 p.m. to give Wei Yishan enough time. If Su Yun was emotionally affected by Ellie's matter yesterday and didn't see through Wei Yishan, this clumsy spy, then if he gave him another 10 hours today, Su Yun would definitely have enough time to deal with Wei Yishan. If Wei Yishan could still meet him at 10 p.m. as if nothing had happened, then it would definitely prove one thing. Wei Yishan was a trap. He was a trap that had been wearing the same pants as Su Yun for a long time. It was also thanks to him that Ellie was easily seen through and captured by Su Yun. Although no matter what, Wei Yishan had contributed to this matter, if Wei Yishan had the intention of playing with him, then Peter would definitely let Wei Yishan have a taste of the 12 heavenly stars methods. After Wei Yishan conveyed his agreement with Planet Aries Peter to Su Yun frowned and thought for a while. Director Su, this is an opportunity. I can go with that woman first and let her lie in ambush outside. Wei Yishan said, after I meet with their people, I'll let that woman find her own way back. Su Yun had an ominous premonition. It's best if you don't go. I always feel that, since the other party is such a cautious person, why would he agree so readily? Then you mean? Wei Yishan was also a little confused. But, this is the only way. If they didn't show up, it would be impossible to find this woman. There's no way they can help us. You don't have to go. Just ask that woman to go and hide. Tell her to be careful when she sees one of their own. Lin Ji's question was a little naive. Su Yun shook his head. This was impossible. If the people from the 12 heavenly stars had arrived and did not find Wei Yishan, they would definitely be cautious. This was a trap, and they would definitely not be followed so easily. Even if Wei Yishan went, it would be very difficult to follow the vigilant other party back without being noticed. Wei Yishan could also think of this. I have to go. If I don't go, there's no chance of success. Only if I give it my all will there be a chance for things to turn around. Buddha Wei is right. Su Yun nodded and said, if he doesn't go, the other party will immediately realize that there's a problem. Even if he can successfully follow them, he'll definitely be taken to a messy place. The other party's caution is beyond our expectations. F*CK, Lin Gu cursed in his heart. It's not that we're not strong enough, but that the enemy is too cunning. So I have to go. I have no other choice. Wei Yishan smiled slightly. Don't worry, Director Su. I still have a lot of things to do. I won't put my life on the line so easily. Su Yun thought of the things Wei Yishan gave him yesterday. He really suspected that this guy would be stupid and put his life on the line. Buddha Wei, it's not that simple. Su Yun said, that person may be using this to test you. I still think it's safer for us to find another way. There's no safe way. Wei Yishan said slowly, I've been there. I know you're a capable person, but you should also believe that I'm a person who's been through a lot. What haven't I encountered? Ha ha ha. Haven't I still survived until now? What he said made sense. Wei Yishan wasn't a person who hadn't seen the world, nor was he someone who hadn't been baptized by storms. Only 3 days. Don't you think that if the woman still can't find her organization after 3 days, what will you do? Give her the antidote and wait for another chance? Wei Yishan smiled slightly. Don't be silly. Once you do that, she'll know that you don't really want her life. She won't be as cooperative as she is now. People change quickly. Seize the woman's betrayal after being abandoned and solve the problem as soon as possible. It'll be more troublesome if it drags on. This logic was very simple, and Su Yun understood it too. But the only danger was that Wei Yishan's life was at stake. If it was before, Su Yun might not care if Wei Yishan's life was at stake. After all, he wasn't a good person. But after hearing what he said about his son yesterday, Su Yun really sympathized with this man. Lord Wei, since you've helped me so much, I'll thank you. Su Yun, I believe you'll be safe. About what you said to me yesterday, I promise you. Su Yun said this to let him focus on his work and not think too much. Also, your brothers who were arrested in Yanjing have been detained for a long time. I'll call Yanjing as soon as possible to arrange for them to be released. Su Yun, those people have been with you for so long. You have some feelings for them. I know that. Wei Yishan was quite touched. Boss Su, then I'll thank you on their behalf. If we didn't have those misunderstandings before, I believe we can be friends. Su Yun laughed. I'm afraid I can't be friends with the previous Lord Wei, but I might be able to have a heart-to-heart talk with the current Lord Wei. Ha 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 ha. Wei Yishan also laughed heartily. Their laughter seemed to make the situation less bitter. Lin Gu didn't understand their current mood, but he could see from Su Yun's eyes that he actually felt a little guilty towards Wei Yishan. Since they had already made their arrangements, now it was up to the actress, Ailey, to cooperate. All of this required her cooperation. If she couldn't cooperate well, everything would be in vain. No one knew what would happen next. Su Yun was gambling, Wei Yishan was gambling, and so was Ailey. Their fates would change because of this decision. Wei Yishan spent the whole day very peacefully. He was waiting for the last chance of redemption. Today was the biggest test for him. He knew better than anyone how dangerous it was. But he had already decided that even if he risked his old life, he would make a final gamble. Chapter 1292. At 8 o'clock in the evening, the calm Wei Yishan and the nervous Ellie went to the agreed place together. Ellie looked for a hiding place outside, while Wei Yishan entered Starbucks early. He ordered a latte, but he didn't drink it. He just quietly held the cup and stared at it. As long as his son was in China, he always liked to drink coffee at Starbucks. It wasn't because he liked to drink coffee, but because he thought that girls who were a little pretentious and a little bourgeois were the most materialistic. In Starbucks, girls with such a mentality were the most common. Although the coffee beans in the shop were indeed purchased from all over the world, the formula was standardized in the United States, and then sent to the world. The taste was different according to each region, so the taste might be different in each country. In Huaxia, the taste of Starbucks coffee was on the bland side, mainly to cater to the majority of consumers. However, consumers who cared about coffee generally wouldn't buy it here. And the rich would choose high-end and classy places. The darker, the better, and the more expensive, the better. Only the membership system was cool enough. Therefore, it was accurate to say that most of the people who drank coffee here were a little bourgeois. When a coffee shop even introduced instant coffee, it really couldn't be considered classy. Those who went to Starbucks to express their taste were more or less low-end. Therefore, those who were a little pretentious and a little materialistic would choose a place with an acceptable price and enough reputation. They would stay for the whole afternoon and use their mobile phones or tablets to browse their WeChat moments. They would post a few photos that were shown by Meitu and write a few famous sentences like, "The sun can't shine through the window into my heart," and so on. Wei Yishan's son liked to search for Weibo in this place and find people nearby. If there were girls who posted such things, he would directly take them down. Wei Yishan knew about it because 2 years ago, his son went back to China and stayed in Huaxia for a week. He basically didn't go home day and night. The night before he left, a few girls gathered at the door and cried, saying that he played with their feelings and bodies. It was also because of Wei Yishan's identity that no one dared to cause trouble after knowing that this was his son. After that, it seemed that 2 girls were pregnant. Wei Yishan only asked Xiong Feng to bring some money to settle the matter. After this incident, Wei Yishan had a headache. His son would definitely cause trouble for him when he came back. It would be better for him to stay in Europe, which was more open-minded. Even if those girls got pregnant, they would not know who the father was. Wei Yishan would not always have to clean up after him. Although his son was a good-for-nothing, the more Wei Yishan thought about it, the more he felt sorry for him. He was the one who caused his son to become like this. There was a saying in the 3-character classic that made a lot of sense. If you don't teach well, it's the father's fault. If you don't teach well, it's the teacher's fault. If a child does not learn, it is not suitable. If a child does not learn, what is the use of an old man? Good evening, Lord Wei. You're really early. A greeting interrupted Wei Yishan's thoughts. He was too familiar with this voice, but he really did not expect that Aries Peter would personally come to see him. After seeing Peter, Wei Yishan quickly calmed himself down. He gestured for Peter to sit down and said, "Your plan changed too quickly. I can't stay by Su Yun's side anymore. You have to take me to your side. I need your help." Peter smiled. "Lord Wei, you're from Huaxia, and we're in Huaxia. It's a bit funny of you to ask for my help. I've always been the one asking for your help. It's good that you know. But now I need your help." Wei Yishan insisted. "You're a master from Huaxia. Don't you think it's embarrassing for you to say such things?" Peter still had a smile on his face. "Lord Wei, I think you're overthinking it. Even if I'm overthinking it, it's because I have no choice." Wei Yishan said, "Your people have been caught, and you can still be so calm. Obviously, you've abandoned them. I'm an outsider. If I'm no longer useful to you, won't you abandon me even more mercilessly?" Peter shook his head. "Lord Wei, I think you must have misunderstood me. We won't abandon anyone. As for Ellie's current situation, that's just part of our current plan." Wei Yishan's expression changed. Part of the plan? Could it be? This was also a trap. Impossible, Ali had taken the 3 days heartbreak pill. Peter sneered when he saw the change in Wei Yishan's expression. Wei Yishan also noticed the change on Peter's face. He had a bad feeling in his heart. This was a trap. "How many plans do you have that I don't know?" Wei Yishan was not afraid. Instead, he was angry. "I'll tell you. I can cooperate with you, but I'm not someone who will risk my life for you. If I don't even have the most basic guarantee of safety, I won't do it. I don't care what you threaten me with." "I understand what you mean, Lord Wei," Peter said. "Now that Buddhist Lord Wei has said so, it would be too much for me to force you to do what you can. Since I'm here today, I won't go back." Wei Yishan said, "They must be suspicious of me. I can't wait until I have no way out. I'm asking for your protection now." Peter nodded. "Then you can go back with me." "Oh?" Wei Yishan was a little hesitant. Why did this guy agree so quickly? It seemed that today was not a good day. "Do you want something to drink?" "It's on me." "No need," Peter said. "I've drunk Hua Xia's coffee." Even the American coffee from Starbucks is still a little different from our American taste. "I'm not used to it. I also suggest that you don't drink it, Lord Wei. If you want to drink coffee, I'll go back and make a cup for you." That's really troublesome. Wei Yishan didn't talk nonsense with him. He directly got up and said, "Let's go." Peter nodded. Without saying anything, he got up and went straight to the door. Coincidentally, an empty taxi passed by the roadside. Peter waved his hand and the taxi immediately stopped in front of them. After getting into the car, the driver was just about to ask where they were going when Peter said, "Take us around. I haven't been to Shenzhen for a long time. I want to see the changes in Shenzhen over the years." The driver was stunned. "I drive around? Yes, just drive around. Especially the streets and alleys. Peter said, I like the streets and alleys of Shenzhen. There are always all kinds of new things. Driver, just drive around. I'm just going to take a look and walk around. When the driver heard that, he felt that it was easy to earn money today. He could just walk around casually as if he was an empty car. All right, then I'll bring you around. Haha, your Chinese is really good. One look and I can tell that you know a lot about China. You flatter me. Peter smiled. Wei Yishan kept smiling but didn't say anything. This guy was really sneaky. He made the taxi wander around. There was no route to talk about. As long as they went out a few streets, it would be clear who was following them. Caution is the parent of safety. Peter glanced at Wei Yishan and said to him in Huaxia language. The driver thought that Peter was talking about him because he couldn't drive properly. He smiled and said, It's okay. I've been driving for 30 years. If you walk by the river often, your shoes will get wet. Wei Yishan also replied to Peter. The driver thought that Peter was talking about him again. Don't worry. I've been driving for so many years and have never gotten my shoes wet. To me, this is not a problem. The dialogue between the two of them really made one not know whether to laugh or cry. Wei Yishan didn't have time to explain anything to the driver. He was only worried that Ellie couldn't keep up with them and wouldn't be noticed. The car drove for more than 30 minutes. There were a few cars following them. Wei Yishan frowned. It was so obvious that even he noticed it, but Peter still didn't react. Wei Yishan didn't care anymore. He patted Peter's knee and pointed to the rearview mirror. Peter smiled faintly. Then, a few words came out of his mouth. He is one of us. Don't worry. Chapter 1293. Wei Yishan smiled shakily. This kind of fake smile was full of helplessness. It's good that we're on the same side. Safety first. Safety first. After all, this is Huaxia's territory. If we're not careful, it's easy to capsize. Peter smiled slightly. Zhongye Wei doesn't want anything to happen to us. I can only sleep soundly when I guarantee my own safety. Wei Yishan smiled but didn't say anything. Peter's words had a double meaning. He would do anything for his own safety. Now, Wei Yishan began to wonder if he was a sheep in a tiger's den. The feeling of taking the initiative to send himself to the door was really unpleasant. The taxi wandered aimlessly in the streets of Shenzhen for 2 hours. Even the taxi driver couldn't help but yawn. Seeing that the gas meter was almost empty, he turned his head and said to the two of them with a smile, I'll find a place to refuel first. Hee, most of the tank's gas has run out. No need. You can just stop here. After Peter finished speaking, he took out a stack of red notes from his wallet. He didn't count much, but it was definitely more than the money on the taxi's meter. Thank you, driver, for letting me experience the great mountains and rivers of Shenzhen again. You're welcome. You're welcome. The taxi driver was overjoyed. This was too good. He only had one job tonight, and he earned more than 2 nights on a normal day. He took out a business card and handed it to Peter. Mr. Yang, if you still want to stroll around Shenzhen, you can call me at any time. You can also call me in advance. Anything is fine. It's my honor to serve you. Peter took the business card and smiled. That's great. The taxi driver took a deep breath on the way out. Haha, these days, foreigners are still more generous than Huaxia. It's popular to give tips. They're also generous. There's no need for change. Haha, idiot. Peter looked at the taxi driving away and threw the business card in his hand into the trash can next to him. His heart was full of contempt and disdain. For him, casually throwing some money could make a Huaxia person submissive to him. What a pleasure it was to do such a thing. After getting out of the car, Wei Yishan was full of vigilance. Could it be that Peter wanted to kill him here? This was not a secluded place. Moreover, if he was alone, was he really prepared to meet force with force? This was not a wise choice. Did you bring me here to protect me? Wei Yishan said, I'm not joking with you. Don't play tricks with me. I don't know what you're trying to do. Lord Wei, you're a smart man. You should know that I'm not joking with you after taking you so far. Peter said, we're both smart people. You're older than me, so you should understand a simple truth better than me. We won't easily trust a person, especially when facing someone who isn't so reliable. So, we won't easily trust him, right? I'm unreliable? Wei Yishan snorted coldly. I think you never intended to work with me from the start. You just wanted to use me once. Now that I'm in danger, you think I'm useless and want to kick me away? Peter shook his head. No, I'm not such an ungrateful person. If Lord Wei sincerely cooperates with me, I'll finish my task and you'll benefit a lot. But, in this situation, I'm afraid Lord Wei doesn't intend to cooperate with me seriously. Maybe, I'll be stabbed in the back at some point. What do you mean? Wei Yishan said, you don't seem to have any reason to doubt me. I've done everything according to your arrangement. If you doubt me, then show me some evidence. Lord Wei, do you really want me to make it clear? There was no smile on Peter's face. At this time, the cars that had been following them slowly came from not far away. Peter said impatiently, even Ellie was caught by them. How can you be safe and sound? Ellie was the one who was abandoned by my plan. A normal person would definitely report you as an accomplice at the first moment. At least you'll have a companion when you meet the Grim Reaper. But you're safe and sound. You're not suspected by any of them. You're still on time today. How can you not be suspicious? Faced with these questions, Wei Yishan was already prepared to defend himself. You've captured their people, and now their minds are all in a mess. They don't have time to think so much. That's why I had the chance to escape. Do you think Ellie didn't betray me? Of course she betrayed me. But do you think they'll believe her? These rebuttals were quite powerful. If he participated in a debate competition or something, Lord Wei might really win a prize. Ha 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 ha. Wei Yishan, this is why I arranged to meet at 10 o'clock tonight, Peter said. Peter said, last night, or even this morning, they might not have been able to consider so many things because of the chaos. I made an appointment with them tonight, and I gave them a day to suspect you. They didn't suspect you, and you were able to walk out so easily. How can I trust you? Do you only believe me when they suspect me and then kill me? Wei Yishan cursed angrily. Peter nodded. That's right. Only the dead are the safest and most trustworthy people. If you really died in the hands of Su Yun, I'll definitely apply for an American Hero's armband for you when I return to China. I'll personally go back to Huaxia to bury you in your grave. F***ck off. Wei Yishan cursed in his heart. Do I care about your **T Hero's armband? How much is it worth? My family's production capacity is enough to buy your armband. It's enough to flatten America. Honor, what **T is honor? Does America's honor have anything to do with me? Using **T to fool me, humph. Do you really think I'm a 3-year-old child? Only the dead are worthy of your trust. I think I understand what you mean. Wei Yishan sneered. He looked at the people who got out of the car. They were all from the CIA's 12 Heavenly Stars. It seemed that Peter's suspicion of him was very deep. He had arranged to meet him tonight to deal with him. Wei Yishan took a deep breath. In any case, he was already prepared to sacrifice himself. Since he was going to die, he might as well drag a few people down with him. Today, he, Wei Yishan, would kill one and break even. If this old bag of bones could still move around on his last night, his life would not be in vain. When the 12 heavenly stars surrounded Wei Yishan's true energy instantly erupted. His muscles and bones that had not moved for a long time were suddenly released. It made him feel unprecedentedly excited. Although the person Wei Yishan wanted to drag down the road to hell with him the most was Aries Peter, the person he hated the most, his rationality told him that at this time he should choose the weakest one. Among the 12 heavenly stars, the weakest aura should be the Gemini star. However, Wei Yishan did not expect that although the auras of these two were the weakest, when they fought, the two of them were almost as one. The energy they produced would be the strongest among the 12 heavenly stars. Wrong judgment and wrong moves made Wei Yishan fall into a difficult battle from the beginning. But this was the last battle. No matter the result, he had to fight with dignity. Even if it was a painful moment, he had to hold on until his last breath. Chapter 1294. The backbone of the Hua-Xia people had been passed down since ancient times. During the Warring States period, Mencius had a few very good words. Riches and honor cannot be corrupted, poverty cannot be swayed, might cannot be subdued. This was the backbone of the Hua-Xia people. This was the seed of the Hua-Xia people. One Tianxiang rejected high positions and generous salaries. The poor did not eat handouts. When Yidhua would rather die than submit, and so on with the backbone of the ancient people. Wei Yishan thought of a piece of news he had seen in the past. There was a young worker who would rather be fired than kneel in a punishment incident caused by a foreign boss. This was backbone. The Hua-Xia people were not like the Japanese, who were all spineless. They would kneel on the ground at every turn. They would even kneel to apologize. That was called spineless. Of course, there were also some people who said, "So be it. As long as you give me money, I'll even add shoes." Perhaps many people would find it unbelievable when they saw this and would not believe that such people existed. However, there were all sorts of strange things in the boundless world. All kinds of trash and spineless people were everywhere in the society we lived in. Perhaps you did not see it, but it definitely did not mean that it did not exist. To give the most common example, those green tea bitches who could be prostitutes for money and let rich people play with them however they wanted for money were the representatives of having no backbone and dignity. And those gigolos who were clearly handsome but insisted on being male prostitutes by the side of rich women were also spineless. It was because of such a small group of people that Hua-Xia's backbone was ruined. There were also those who worshipped foreigners. They were submissive in front of foreigners, but they were proud in front of their own people. This made foreigners look down on the backbone of the Hua-Xia people. In fact, the people of Hua-Xia had always had a backbone. Since the Qin dynasty, many civil officials had remonstrated and scolded the emperor and the feudal lords. Some of these civil officials were killed, some were dismissed, some were adopted, and some were promoted. In short, scolding the emperor or the feudal lords was not a loss, but it was not a gain. Thus, many schools of thought were born, such as Confucianism, legalism, Moism, and so on. This was the first esoteric debate in Hua-Xia. Later, in the Qin dynasty, he burned books and buried Confucian scholars, killing a group of ambitious Confucian scholars as an example. This was the first big blow to Hua-Xia's backbone. Later on, in the Han dynasty, people were more open-minded in the early stages. Our Hua-Xia people gradually regained their backbone. Although only respecting Confucianism was somewhat damaging to our backbone, it didn't matter. Confucianism was also loyal and patriotic. After that, it was the Song dynasty. Their subjects and people were extremely courageous. Facing the powerful military invaders, whether it was Liao Jin, Xixia, Mongolia, or Dali, our subjects did not retreat. Our people fought back with all their might. The civil officials were not greedy for money, while the military generals were not afraid of death. Although the country had fallen in the end, 100,000 people had committed suicide after the war, and the sea was filled with corpses. In the Yuan dynasty, we Hua-Xia people were reduced to low-class people and were crazily massacred. We had no backbone to speak of, but we had Wen Tianxiang. He alone was enough to represent the backbone of our Hua-Xia people. The Ming dynasty seemed to have improved slightly, but the Manchurian Qing dynasty reduced the backbone of Hua-Xia people to slavery. Finally, it was the Republic of China. Their minds were liberated, and their backbone was born. The Tatars were expelled, and China was restored. This was another revival of backbone in Hua-Xia. The 8-Year War made the whole world see the backbone of Hua-Xia people. After liberation, the people of Huaxia turned over and became the masters. Thinking of this, even though Wei Yishan was already seriously injured, he still insisted on standing up. He wanted to be the contemporary Wan Tianxiang. The 12 heavenly stars came to Huaxia to deal with them. Their purpose was to suppress Huaxia militarily. This way they could have more power in the world, be more domineering, and do whatever they wanted. You can even strut around in front of us, Huaxia. Since that was the case, Wei Yishan would raise his head higher for the sake of his country, for the sake of Huaxia, and for the sake of his people. He would sacrifice his life. In the end, the furious Wei Yishan seriously injured Cancer and Taurus, but he was no longer able to withstand Aries' final heavy blow. He fell to the ground and no longer had the strength to support himself to stand up. Everything ended in a one-sided battle. From the beginning to the end, Wei Yishan was under the siege of the 12 heavenly stars. No one would have believed that he could hold on until now. Even the 12 heavenly stars were completely shocked. They did not understand what supported Wei Yishan to hold on until now. They did not understand why he insisted on fighting against them to the end even though he knew that it was a dead end. They were even more confused as to why this person was still able to laugh before he died. Did he not have the slightest bit of regret or fear in his heart? Wei Yishan really did not regret, nor was he afraid. He only believed that the time he had delayed was enough. It was enough for Ellie to find this place. He believed that since she was from the CIA, she should be very familiar with basic tracking and anti-tracking. She would definitely be aware of their own people lying in ambush around the coffee shop. Since Ellie was not among the 12 heavenly stars when they surrounded Wei Yishan just now, this meant that she was not discovered, and she was really prepared to cooperate with Su Yun and the others. This way, Wei Yishan's sacrifice was worth it. Wei Yishan's body was mercilessly thrown into the upper reaches of the Shen River. The 12 heavenly stars were not afraid of his body being discovered. They really did not care about the abilities of the Huaxia police. Ailey had seen everything clearly. She knew very well that she had enough time to follow Wei Yishan here. It was all because of Wei Yishan's sacrifice. She also did not understand why this guy would make such a choice. This choice did not make any sense to him. Was he really willing to sacrifice his own life for someone else's matter? Sometimes, Huaxia people seemed to be easy to use, but sometimes, they seemed so unpredictable. Let's go. After Ares' planet Peter gave the order, everyone quickly left and quickly returned to their hiding place. It was a villa in the suburbs that they rented temporarily. This place was far away from the city, quiet and comfortable. They were not afraid of being disturbed by outsiders, and it was more comfortable to live here. The few rented cars could also be parked in the villa's huge underground garage. It was definitely suitable for so many of them to hide temporarily. Ellie finally got what she wanted and found the hiding place of the organization. She unceremoniously broke through the door and shocked everyone from the 12 heavenly stars. Leo Planet Gary immediately rushed up and hugged Ellie's shoulders. He was so excited that he was incoherent. Ellie, you're back. Are you okay? Are you hurt? Did they do anything to you? Ellie pushed away Leo Planet Gary, who was very concerned about her, and angrily glared at Ares Planet. Peter, what do you mean by this? You have to explain it to me today. How dare you use me like this? What do you take me for? Am I just a pawn of yours? Tell me. Peter frowned. He never thought that Ellie would suddenly appear at this time. Everything was not going according to his plan. How could they let Ellie out? This was impossible. Ellie should be their bargaining chip. Such an important bargaining chip. How could she escape? Answer me. Ellie was still glaring at Peter. Gary quickly said, calm down, calm down. It's good that you're back. Everything is over. As long as you're fine. As long as you're fine. Now, Gary no longer dared to fall out with Peter. That day, when Peter really ordered him to withdraw from the mission, Gary had already apologized. If he was ordered to withdraw from the mission, he would definitely be punished by Douglas when he returned to China. This was related to his future and money. Chapter 1295. Ellie stared at Peter coldly. At this moment, she had already thrown the matter of her being poisoned to the back of her mind. Regardless of whether she was a traitor or not, she wanted to know the reason behind Peter's actions. Why me? Everyone present was silent. In the huge villa, it was so quiet that even a pin drop could be heard clearly. Everyone was looking forward to Pete's answer. This time, he had betrayed and abandoned Ellie. Next time, it could be any one of them. This was the reality. Everyone knew that, so everyone wanted to hear Peter's opinion. Peter was also very clear that at this moment, he had to be careful with his words. He was not facing Ellie alone, but everyone. This was a very serious problem. It meant his position, his appeal, and his influence. And his control over everyone in the future. If he could not convince the masses, any leader would be bullshit. Peter had led the 12 heavenly stars for so many years, so he naturally understood this simple logic. Ellie, there are some things that I might not be able to explain to you clearly in such a short period of time. But please believe me, I have absolutely no intention of abandoning you. Come with me. Isn't it better to say some things in front of everyone? Sagittarius, who had always been quiet, could not help but speak up. This was something that no one else could say. Sagittarius, who had always been quiet, seemed to be born to speak such words. Whenever he encountered something that no one else could say, he would always be able to say it. Aries Peter frowned. This was a bit tricky. Looks like everyone wants to hear it. Alright, Ellie, since you want to know, I will tell you. Because you are the only suitable candidate among all of us. You are the only one who will follow your own wishes and not the team. If it weren't for you, I would not have made such a decision. Because every one of them will put the team first, but you won't. That's why I want you to be my chess piece. Peter had completely abandoned Ellie, so he did not need to care about Ellie's inner thoughts. He cared about the others. He could not let them have a rebellious attitude towards him. Ellie sneered. You're interesting now, aren't you? Even to our own people, you won't tell the truth. Instead, you scheme and use us. Ellie, I want to apologize to you for what I did to you before. Welcome back. Let bygones be bygones. Peter said, now that we have the initiative, what else is more worth celebrating than this, don't you think? It's indeed worth celebrating. But I think it's even more worth celebrating that I came back alive. Alice asked, Peter, what do you think? Yes. Your safe return is even more worthy of celebration. Lion Star said excitedly, not only did we get rid of the Way guy today, but we also found Ellie. We also have that little girl in our hands. We have the upper hand now. Everything is in our hands now. Tonight, let's celebrate our victory. Alice said coldly, where is that little girl? I want to see who she is. He's just a child. There's no need to look at him. Peter smiled. We've already dealt with it very well. Let's listen to Gary's suggestion and find a place to party. Our victory won't be in vain. Ellie insisted. No, I have to see that little girl. I want to see what kind of child she is to make them care so much. They almost killed me when they found out that the child was taken away by you. Do you know? You didn't do it yourself. Of course, you can't understand how I feel. I have to see that child. Ellie. Peter was a little angry. I'll say it again. We've already settled that child. It's better if you don't see her. Yes, Ellie. The fewer people who know about this, the better. Even we don't know where the child is. Gary explained. Ellie, don't be so insistent. Some things can only be done with it. Peter, what are you suspecting me of? Ellie sneered. Don't tell me you won't believe an abandoned chess piece like me even if I come back? Aries frowned. What Ellie said was true. He really didn't believe it. First, how could Ellie know where they were hiding? Second, Ellie appeared at the right time. They had just finished off Wei Yishan and Ellie suddenly found them. Unless Ellie had followed Wei Yishan to find them. Otherwise, how could she have found this place? He didn't say this because he wanted to leave a little face for Ellie. Because it was the truth. But now, Ellie even asked him why he suspected her. How could Peter bear it? Ellie, do you really want me to expose my suspicion of you in front of everyone? Aries said. How did you find this place? I've already cut off your contact with anyone. Unless you followed Wei Ishan tonight, it's impossible for you to follow us and find this place. Moreover, you want to see that child when you come back. This is really not your character. Ellie, your reaction now is too different from before. I really can't help but suspect you. Peter. If that's the case, I've already marked the death sentence in your heart. Ellie said coldly. I didn't expect that you would suspect me after I spent so much effort to come back. Peter didn't soften his heart. You just need to tell me how you found this place. If your reason can convince me, I'll believe you. Forget it. There's nothing to say. Since you already suspect me, no matter what I say, you'll feel suspicious. Ellie said. It seems that I shouldn't have come back. It's not easy for her to come back. Peter, don't be like this. Tian Shu Xing said lightly. You can't let Ellie go back because of this. If you do, I'm afraid Officer Douglas will blame you. Blame or blame, I won't keep a bomb by my side. Peter said, Ellie, give me a reason. Otherwise, don't blame me. Ellie's killing intent rose. Are you forcing me to die? I just want to come back and complete the mission with everyone. Why don't you believe me? Do you think I have to die just because I was abandoned by you? Can't I have the right to save myself? Peter, you're too selfish. I have the right to know where the child is. All of us have the right to know. Although you're the chief commander, our relationship is to supervise each other. Peter finally lost his patience. Ellie, you're too impatient. Even though I don't know why you're working with them, you're so desperate to find that little girl. I have no choice but to do something I don't want to do to you. If you dare to do it, I'll accompany you to the end. Ellie was ready to risk everything to survive. You don't have to do it just because of this, right? Leo stood out to smooth things over. Ellie, it's no big deal that you don't know where the child is. Peter, even if you tell her where the child is, what can she do? We've been through so many things together. How can Ellie betray us? You're thinking too much. Under Gary's mediation, the anger of the two gradually subsided. Peter finally gave in. I've locked the child in the storage room on the top floor. Ellie, don't let me down. Humph. Ellie sneered. I just want to see if you're sincere enough to accept me. I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you. Do you still have my room? Chapter 1296. Allie didn't stand on ceremony with Jelly. She had always thought that everything Jelly did was the right thing to do. She had never felt any gratitude towards him. Among the 12 heavenly stars, it seemed that other than Jelly, who could tolerate her bad habits, no one else could. Although Allie didn't even say a word of courtesy, Lion Star Jelly still went to his room to pack up his things. He also helped Allie make her bed before leaving. Just based on this point, many people felt that Jelly was a bit cheap. However, he was willing to do this. It was hard to buy someone's willingness with money. Since he was willing to do it, no one could say anything. Allie went to her room to sleep. Jelly was a little excited. He originally thought that this mission would really cause her to die in Huaxia. Today, she came back, which made Jelly burst with joy. He was in a good mood, so he naturally had to drink. It was already late. Everyone was going to sleep, but Jelly pulled Sagittarius star Kitas out for a drink. Kitas was Jelly's best friend among the 12 heavenly stars. Although Kitas didn't talk much, he was definitely a suitable person to listen to. Now that he had something to say, of course, he had to pull this best person to talk to. Otherwise, if he kept some things in his heart and didn't say them out loud, it would make him very uncomfortable. Kitas was also a person who liked to have a drink or two occasionally, so he didn't refuse. The two of them didn't get the permission of Aries' star Peter and directly left their stronghold. They came to Shenzhong's bustling district, found a bar, ordered 2 bottles of whiskey, and began to drink to their heart's content. Jolly was very happy. Of course, Kitas could see the reason. After 3 rounds of drinking, Jolly started to talk more. Basically, it was all about Ali. Kitas finally couldn't help but say, "Jolly, as a friend, I feel that I need to remind you that you'd better not be tempted by Ali. That way, the one who will suffer in the end will definitely be you. If you treat me as a friend, then believe me. Don't mess around. Ha ha ha, I know that Ali always ignores me now. But I believe that feelings are gradual. No one will fall in love with someone all of a sudden, but time will change everything." Gary, on the other hand, was very confident. "As long as I work hard for the country and the CIA, Officer Douglas will just say a few words, and Ellie and I will be together. Sometimes, I even dream that Ellie and I are like Mr. and Mrs. Smith." "You'd better not mix the movie with reality." Kitas said, "I'm not reminding you about your feelings." "But, Ellie, she..." Gary's expression changed. "If you have something to say, you have to tell me directly. Don't hide anything from me as a friend." "I really have nothing to hide from you." Kitas said, "This is one of the reasons why I came out to drink with you. I wanted to talk to you about this." After pausing for a moment, Kitas continued, "I feel that there's something wrong with Ali's return this time. There was absolutely no prejudice. Although I don't support Pete's decisions most of the time, this time, I trust Pete's intuition." "What intuition does Pete have? Why can't I understand what you're saying?" Gary couldn't sit still. "Are you referring to Pete's suspicion of Ellie?" Kitas nodded. "I'm afraid it's not as simple as that. He might do something to Ellie." "What?" Gary was furious when he heard this. "No way, he would never let Peter lay his hands on Ellie." "I'm not drinking anymore. I have to go back and ask Peter what I need to do to make him believe Ellie. If it continues like this, then it's meaningless for us to work together. If he has to suspect Ellie, then I won't work with him either. He only knows how to suspect this and that every day. Show him evidence before he suspects. It's called slander if there's no evidence. Don't be so agitated." Kitas pressed Gary down on the seat. "Pete is a cautious person. He won't do things that he's not sure of, and he won't act recklessly. Once he does something, it means that there's something wrong with Ellie. Otherwise, he won't do it. How can he have evidence to prove that there's something wrong with Ellie?" Gary said. "He can't just rely on intuition. Based on what he said today that the child is hidden in the attic on the top floor of the villa." Kitas said angrily, "Do you believe that? Do you believe that the child is in the attic on the top floor?" Gary waved his hand. "It's none of my business whether it's there or not. The child was handed over to Pete in the end. No matter where he hides the child, it has nothing to do with me. I don't care about this problem at all." "That's right. None of us will care about this problem." Even Ellie, knowing that the child is in the attic, showed a disapproving expression. "None of us will be bored enough to go up and take a look to prove whether Pete is telling the truth or not. Unless there's some other motive." Kitas said very seriously. Jolly was stunned. He finally understood what Kitas meant. Pete told Ellie that the child in the attic was just a trap, a dangerous place. If Ellie really didn't have any problem, she wouldn't have the heart to go to the attic. Her performance at that time was also disdainful. If everyone was sleeping soundly tonight and Ellie was interested in the attic, then it would be a big problem. Unless Ellie had other motives, otherwise, she would never have any thoughts about the attic. This scheme of Peter's was really used in a rather covert manner. At least Gary didn't think of this at all. "No, I have to go back." "Are you crazy? Will you go back and tell Ellie?" Kitas said, "If you say it, then we can't judge whether she has a problem or not. What if she really has a problem? What should we do? We help her this time. Then what about the future? What about the future? Continue to help her hide?" or fail the mission because of her. I don't care so much, Gary said. Brother, thank you for telling me this. If it weren't for you, I would be sitting here like an idiot now. Even if there is a problem with Ellie, I will make her admit it personally. Even if there is a punishment, it will be after we go back. I can't let Pete give her orders. Starkey pulled Gary hard. No, you can't go back. If you go back, everything will be a mess. Gary, listen to me. Don't joke around. Gary said. If I didn't know about this, it would have been fine. But now that I know, I will never allow it to happen. You don't know how important Ellie is to me. I can't let Ellie fall into a trap. Absolutely not. This is not a problem of falling into a trap or not. This is a problem of whether Ellie has a problem or not. In the end, Starkey couldn't control Gary. Gary broke free from his restraint and quickly rushed out of the bar. Starkey chased after him without thinking. Those who didn't know would definitely think that these two foreigners were thieves. Those who didn't know would think that they had stolen something valuable. They ran so fast as if there were wolves chasing after them. Once they reached the highway to the suburbs, the two of them were like two silver shadows on the road. But even so, when Gary rushed back to the villa where they were hiding, Ellie had already been injured and subdued by Pete. Kiedis was right. This was a probing trap. Ellie, who had expressed no interest in the important hostage, snuck into the attic alone after everyone was asleep. Chapter 1297. This was a question that Ali couldn't answer. Right or wrong didn't need to be explained at this moment. No one knew what Ellie's purpose was, but one thing was for sure: she was no longer one of them. Ali didn't explain anything to Peter. It was meaningless to explain anything to him. His heart had already been fixed on her behavior. No matter what she explained, Peter would never trust her again. I tried to accept you, tried to give you a chance, Peter said lightly, but you didn't cherish it. Ali, I'm sorry. For the interests of the country, for the safety of the rest of us, I have to give you up. I've already contacted Officer Douglas. He's very disappointed with what you did. Ali, I'm not a heartless person. I'll give you one last night. If you can persuade Officer Douglas today, I'll arrange for someone to escort you back to your country tomorrow. If you can't persuade Officer Douglas, I can only do as he says. When you go to the other world, I hope you won't hate me. Everything I did was for the interests of our country. Ali said coldly, There's nothing to explain. You can do whatever Officer Douglas wants you to do with me. Just give me a quick death. I'm willing to die in the hands of my own people. Impossible. Officer Douglas is your godfather. Gary, who had rushed back to the suburban villa, broke the door and denied Ali's decision to give up. Although he knew that Peter was a cold-hearted person, he still wanted to try. Peter. Give her a chance. Peter was somewhat helpless. I've given her a chance, but she didn't want it. Now I don't have the right to give her another chance. The only thing I can do is to tell her to ask Officer Douglas for a chance herself. It's more likely for her to ask than for me, right? That made sense. Gary nodded repeatedly. He walked to Ellie's side and said, Ellie, listen to Pete. Go and explain to Officer Douglas. If you can explain it, it means you have a chance. He'll give you a chance. If you explain it clearly, I'll accompany you back to your country tomorrow. Punishment or demerit, it's better than losing your life. Life. Ali sneered. Fate was playing a big joke on her. If she couldn't bring the kidnapped child back to Su Yun within 3 days, she wouldn't be able to get the antidote for the 3 days heartbroken grass. Then she would die a horrible death. Since she was going to die no matter what, why didn't she choose the least painful one? What else was there to explain? In the end, she gave up the country's interests because she wanted to live. This explanation was meaningless in front of Douglas. Since she had chosen to join the CIA and become one of the 12 heavenly stars, her life and death were no longer important. There's nothing to explain, Ali said. Ali. Gary, thank you for your care and cares for me all these years. I believe that in the future, you will definitely be able to find someone who is more suitable for you than me. All these years, I have been deliberately cold to you because I didn't want to hurt your heart too much one day. Now that I don't have much time left, I want to explain to you and thank you." Gary broke down on the spot. The goddess he had admired for a long time had ignored him and looked at him coldly. He didn't expect that it wasn't because she was mean to him, but because she cared about his feelings. She was afraid that he would be too sad, so she deliberately distanced herself from him. If anyone dared to hurt his goddess, he would fight them to the death. No one could touch Ali today, no matter who it was. "Peter, listen carefully, I won't allow you to touch Ali." Gary breathed heavily. "If she doesn't explain to Douglas, I'll explain. I won't let anyone hurt her. If you dare to touch her again, don't blame me for not caring about our relationship. Even if you're the highest commander, don't blame me for not giving you face." Ares, who was threatened, was naturally very dissatisfied with Leo's threat. "Gary, can you use your brain when you speak next time? I'm afraid this has nothing to do with me. I'm just following orders. Besides, if you want to stop me, shouldn't you measure your own strength first?" Gary had already gone crazy for his goddess. "Strength? Humph humph. You're so confident that you can win against me? If no one intervenes to help you, it's not certain who will win in a one-on-one battle between the two of us. Peter, aren't you a little too confident?" Among the 12 heavenly stars, Ares and Leo were the two strongest people. Ares Peter's strength was publicly recognized, and everyone had seen it with their own eyes. Leo's Gary might not be able to see anything normally, but at the critical moment of many missions, his outburst could always turn the situation around. His strength had already been proven long ago. No one could deny it. "If you think you can really win against me, then you're too naive," Peter said. "Gary, I'll give you one last chance. Back out of this matter. This has nothing to do with you. Kedas, take Gary away." Peter knew that Sagittarius Starstas was Gary's best friend among the 12 heavenly stars. At this time, letting Kedas come forward to control Gary was the best way. Otherwise, if this guy really went crazy, it would be a big problem. Ellie's matter had just been settled and Gary jumped out to destroy their stability and unity. Of course, he would absolutely not allow it. No one could break the rules he set. "Gary." Kedas really regretted saying these words to Gary in the bar. If Ellie had already been settled by the time they came back, then there wouldn't be these damned troubles. "You leave with me. You need to calm down." The one who needs to calm down is Peter. He made a move on our own people just like that. How can you get along well with such a person? Gary was angry. "Kedas, I've always treated you as my friend. If you don't interfere in this matter, we'll still be good friends. If you interfere, then we'll—" Kedas frowned. "Gary, you really need to calm down. Look at me. Can't you separate your personal feelings from your work? This is not the time to be emotional. This is a matter of principle." Peter snorted. "Gary, did you hear that? Everyone understands that this is a matter of principle. Your best friend also understands this. Why are you so stubborn?" "I don't care about principle. No matter whether Ellie is right or wrong, I won't let you hurt her. This is the only thing I have to do now," Gary said seriously. "Even if what I'm doing is wrong, I still have to persist because this is my choice." Ellie, who had been silent, also spoke. "You're not a child. How can you be so naive? Everything you've done is meaningless. It's meaningless to me and it's meaningless to you. Even if I don't die now, what can I do when I go back? Treason is still a heavy punishment. You don't have the ability to protect me. Then don't interfere in this matter." This was a fact. Ellie was very clear about it. But Ellie didn't say the other half of the sentence. Even if she didn't go back and be convicted, so what? She could only live for 3 days. Excluding today's day, she only had 2 days left. "Then we'll leave," Gary said. "I'll protect you. Are you crazy?" Kedas really couldn't understand Gary's behavior at all. In this way, he and Ellie would have to bear the same amount of blame. This fellow's brain must have been flooded with water. For a woman who betrayed them, was it worth it? It wasn't worth it. Gary turned to his good friend and revealed a smile. I'm not crazy. If you also understand love, you'll understand why I'm doing this. Love. For the people of the 12 heavenly stars, this was simply a laughable topic. They were destined to have no love. Chapter 1298. They didn't know when it started, but they had fewer and fewer days to get together. Although they finally had the chance to get together this time, Guagua was not there. The happy atmosphere was naturally much less, but Su Yun still hoped that everyone could be more relieved. Wei Yishan and Ali had already gone out. There would definitely be a reply tonight, so everyone was waiting for Wei Yishan to bring back good news. It was almost midnight, but everyone was still in the same room. The atmosphere was quite dull. However, the more people gathered together, the better their mood would be. It was always easier to bear the pressure together than to bear it alone. Qin Weiner also put off all her work at this time. She was no longer the naive little girl of the past. She understood that there were some things that she could not solve. The people she was facing at this time were not people that the police could get involved in. If Su Yun needed her help, he would definitely ask her. However, now Su Yun was silent. She was very worried. She didn't know what Su Yun was thinking. At this time, a phone call interrupted Qin Weiner's thoughts. It was a phone call from the office. She frowned slightly. Didn't she say that she would take 2 days off? Why was there someone calling her? She didn't answer. However, just when Qin Weiner was about to hang up the phone, she realized another problem. It was already late at night. If there was a phone call at this time, there must be something important. After thinking about it again and again, she got up and walked out of the room to answer the phone. This was indeed an important phone call. There was a dead person, and the crime was very cruel. Almost all the bones of the victim's body were broken. Originally, the Bureau was not going to inform Qin Weiner, who had asked for a leave. However, because this case was a little serious, the Bureau chief attached great importance to everything. It even alarmed the leaders in the city. The people in the Key Case Investigation Unit decided to inform Qin Weiner to come. Even if it was just to stand at the scene, it would be good to let the leaders see her. Qin Weiner didn't go to the scene to let the leaders see her. She heard that the crime was committed cruelly, so naturally, she attached great importance to it. Unexpectedly, Qin Weiner's trip was really worthwhile. When she saw the victim, she was shocked on the spot. Everyone in the Bureau knew that Deputy Director Qin had always been bold and courageous. No one expected her to have such a big reaction when she saw the corpse. This was not her usual style of doing things. Usually, she would frown at most. After the scene was dealt with, all the leaders left. Qin Wan also drove back to Shinkai Hotel in a daze. The only thing she said when she pushed the door open was, "Wei Yishan is dead." The corpse with all its bones and tendons broken was Wei Yishan's. Because of his last struggle, the 12 heavenly stars had dealt him a heavy blow. If not for all his bones and tendons being broken, Wei Yishan might have been able to stand up with his last bit of mental strength. A person's potential was like this. There was never a limit. When a person's spiritual power was strong to a certain extent, they could always do incredible things. Just like what someone said, when a person is desperate for success, the whole universe will help him. Spiritual power could always triumph over everything, and it could always triumph over the impossible. This wasn't just reflected in Wei Yishan. It was also reflected in many people's dreams. Desire and perseverance were the most terrible things in the world. Desire and perseverance could change too much. Jack Ma in 1999 was called a big liar. Chow Yun-fat in 1974 was just a car washer who was mocked by others. Wang Baoqiang, 14, was still a migrant worker. Li Yan was raised by his wife for N years. Su Zhang was rejected by Hua Xia and N major film and television companies. Jordan was looked down upon by his physical education teacher when he failed to make the school basketball team. Kobe, who was selected by the Hornets but was traded away without playing a single game. Even if he was dead, he still had the most fans in the world. Stallone, who became an actor after being rejected countless times, would more or less encounter setbacks in life. Unless your heart stopped beating, don't give up easily. Perseverance was a terrible thing. Wei Yishan was persevering. Although his perseverance didn't change anything, his perseverance didn't succeed in the end like those above said. But he had no regrets. Even if he paid the price with his life, he persevered for the last thing he wanted to protect. Most people persevered, but they didn't succeed. Only a small number of people succeeded. Everyone understood this. But if you gave up because you thought the chances were small, then there was even less hope. As long as you persevered, there was still hope. Life without hope was meaningless. Life was short for a few decades. Deceiving others was a lifetime. Being ordinary was a lifetime. Being in the limelight was also a lifetime. No matter what class a person was, as long as they still had ideals and hope, they were on the same level. Poverty and wealth only separated the material gap between people. Whether one had the hope to persevere or not was the real thing that separated a person's spirit. If one didn't even have such a basic spirit, then what was the difference between them and the walking dead? Wei Yishan's perseverance didn't result in results, but he lost honorably. What he received was recognition and change. In his heart, this was also a kind of success. Su Yun believed that he would never regret the choice he made. Wei Yishan was dead. Things would inevitably change qualitatively. Su Yun was sure of one thing, and that was that he couldn't count on Ellie. The other party could expose Wei Yishan immediately and even kill him. They would never tolerate Ellie, who took the initiative to come to their door. Even if Ellie was on their side, it would be the same. As long as it affected their mission, they wouldn't be merciful. "Did you find any witnesses?" Su Yun asked. Qin Weiner shook her head. The current clues can only be found through the security surveillance at the entrance of Starbucks. He got into a taxi with an unknown foreign man. The taxi is still being investigated. The car was a black car, and the license plate was fake. So it's more troublesome to investigate. "What's the license plate number?" Su Yun asked. "Here." Qin Weiner handed her mobile phone to Su Yun. There were some clues and photos on it. They were all sent to her by the criminal police team in time. She told them that she needed these things. "I'll check." Lin Guo also took a look at the photos on the mobile phone and memorized the license plate number. He really didn't believe in the efficiency of the police. He still thought that it was more reliable for him to do it himself. Brother Yun definitely couldn't eat or sleep well because of Guagua's matter. He had to solve it as soon as possible. Qin Weiner reminded him, "According to the city's surveillance tracking, we can basically confirm that his car is somewhere in the city center. It's not too far away. I'll ask them to send someone to investigate as soon as possible." If I were the murderer in the same car as Wei Yishan, I would definitely give the taxi driver more money after getting out of the car. I would let him leave this place without surveillance as soon as possible. Then, it would be easier for me to kill him. Su Yun said, "If I were an unlicensed taxi driver and received such a sizable fare, I would probably think, I won't be serving you today. I'll rest for the day and relax." Su Yun liked to analyze things in this way. He looked at the problem from the other party's point of view. This way he could see the problem more clearly, more thoroughly, and more comprehensively. "Brother Yun, are you saying that this guy would definitely be at a relaxing entertainment place?" Lin Gu asked. "Of course. With so much money, if he didn't spend it, how could he be worthy of staying up late every night to drive an unlicensed taxi? This money can be used as a private stash. So, he can't go home early. If he went home early, he would either tell his wife about this, or he would be scolded by his wife for not working hard." Su Yun, "So, if it were me, I would choose to find a bathing center with a good environment, take a bath, find a girl to do a foot massage or a big massage, and then have a good rest in the lounge of the bathing center. Chapter 1299. Lin Ge followed Su Yun's instructions and quickly found the black taxi with the fake license plate in the area narrowed down by the police. Speaking of which, the taxi driver was really bold. It was obviously a black car, but he dared to paint the car with the color of a legitimate taxi company. He was simply doing whatever he wanted. After Lin Ge confirmed the car, he directly took out a dagger and stabbed the front wheel of the black car twice. The sound of the car slowly leaking air was quite pleasant to hear. It wasn't that Lin Ge was bad, but he was worried that if he went in and the taxi driver happened to come out again, his car would be flat. At least he would have to change the spare tire, and he would definitely find out who did it through the surveillance. Clapping his hands, Lin Ge directly walked into the bath center hall. The service staff immediately came forward and handed him the cabinet key and card. Since he was here, he had to pay. Lin Ge wasn't a wasteful child. Even if he didn't do a massage or pedicure, it would still cost dozens of yuan to take a bath in the bath center. After taking a bath and taking a sauna for a while, Lin Ge wiped off the water stains on his body and took the elevator to the common room on the second floor. At this time, even 2 massages would be enough. Lin Ge had stayed up for most of the night. It was time to finish the mission early. "Brother, what kind of service do you need?" The service staff saw the new customer and immediately approached. "Do you want a pedicure or a massage? I recommend our 399 Thai massage here. It's definitely..." Lin Ge waved his hand. "No need. I don't do this. I just want to lie down and rest for a while. You go do your own things. Don't disturb me." "Hee, I know. Brother, you want a massage, right?" "Hee. This bullshasterisk tea massage is indeed bullshasterisk tea. With one look, I can tell that you are someone who has played in big events. You definitely don't care for this." The waiter's face changed very quickly, and he was full of smiles. "Brother, is this your first time here? Let me introduce you to our specialty. Let's have a big massage. Hee, if you believe me, let's go up. I'll find you 2 girls who are good at it." Lin Ge was a little impatient. "I already King said that I'm not interested in this matter. Why is this person so persistent? I really don't need it. If I need it, I'll tell you. I'll definitely let you earn the commission, okay?" "Brother, we are not earning a commission. We are serving the people." The waiter said, "The boss won't give me a commission. Hee, I'm doing this out of the conscience of the industry. I have professional integrity. Although many people in my industry look down on me, I respect my work very much. I firmly believe that every profession has its own master." This guy was really funny. What could he do in a place that provided special services? At most, he would be a chicken head. He even made himself look like he had a backbone. Lin Ge couldn't understand what this person in front of him ate to make his brain damaged. For this kind of person, it was better to just ignore him. Lin Ge closed his eyes and was too lazy to care about him. This person saw that there was really no hope, so he didn't bother and continued to look for a new target. He was right. The boss wouldn't give him money for his active service. However, the boss didn't give him money, but it didn't mean that the mistress wouldn't give him money. If he recommended a customer, the mistress would give him a little something. It was fine if it was a little red packet, 2 cigarettes, or even a night's sleep. These were all benefits. Other than these benefits, he couldn't get any other benefits at all. This was the only oil and water he could get. If he didn't work hard, he couldn't even afford to marry a mistress with his monthly salary. "Which driver is the taxi ending with 799 below?" When Lin Ge saw that no one was bothering him, he used a low voice to ask openly. Although his voice wasn't loud, it was enough for everyone present to hear. After Lin Ge shouted, he didn't get any response. Could it be that they fell asleep? Or did they pretend not to hear? Lin Ge coughed lightly. "Taxi driver ending with 799, I'm sorry. I'm a newbie on the road. I accidentally dented your back door when I stopped the car. If you are here, let's go down and take a look. You can tell me how much the compensation is, and I can give you the money in time so that you can repair the car as soon as possible." Don't delay your work. It's not easy to make money. This time, before Lin Gu finished speaking, a person jumped up from the bed and stared at Lin Gu. My car. You let me touch it. You touched it quite badly. Lin Gu said with a smile. Don't worry. I will compensate you no matter how much it is. Let's go down and take a look. How to repair it and how much it will cost. I want to solve the problem as soon as possible. My car is an operating car. It earns at least 800 to 900 yuan a day. If you let me touch it, it will delay me for at least 3 days, right? In addition to the money to repair the car, there is also the compensation for lost work. When the taxi driver saw Lin Gu like this, he concluded that he was a person who was afraid of trouble. At that time, he decided that he must take advantage of him. He must take advantage of him. If he could take advantage of a few hundred more, he would take advantage of it. It was a waste not to take advantage of this opportunity. Lin Gu was still nodding his head politely. Sure, no problem, as long as you ask. But you have to take a look at the car first. If you really can't repair the car, I can even give you a new car. Really? Humph. It seems that I have hit the god of fortune today. The taxi driver grinned. Okay, then it's decided. I'll take a look. If this kid really doesn't understand, then I'll really give him a new car. Haha, then I'll really earn a lot. The two of them hurriedly went to their wardrobes to change their clothes. After paying for the bath, they directly rushed to the parking lot. The taxi driver quickly ran to his parking space. When he saw that his car was fine, he was stunned for a moment. Then he looked at Lin Gu suspiciously. Brother, what do you mean by this? Are you trying to trick me? Do you have any F***king intention for doing this? If you come out of the bath center and enter again, then you have to pay again. Do you understand? Okay, since we're out, I won't talk nonsense with you. Did you bring a middle-aged man and a foreigner with you today? Tell me more about them. After Lin Gu finished speaking, he pulled the taxi driver's clothes and pulled him to the front of the car. What do you know? Tell me. When the taxi driver saw that this kid was so rude, of course, he was unhappy. You're a police officer. You should investigate my household registration. What right do you have to say that I brought a foreigner? Not only do I know that you brought a foreigner, but I also know that your car is a F***king black car. Don't talk nonsense with me. Let's go. Lin Gu said impatiently. Regarding the foreigner, you have to tell me clearly what you think is special about it. Otherwise, you will suffer. I don't know what you're talking about. The taxi driver said unhappily. Lin Gu raised his eyebrows. You really won't give up until you see the coffin. Do you really think that I'm not a police officer? Then let me tell you. The two guests you brought today, the Huaxia man, are dead. The place where they got off was at the west end of Yanjiang Road. Whether that's the place where they got off or not, you know best, right? That place is the place with the least surveillance cameras. You're a taxi driver. You should know very well, right? F***ck. The taxi driver was really scared this time. Could it be that he brought a murderer tonight? Then why didn't they kill him to silence him? Lin Gu seemed to have guessed his thoughts. I'm warning you. If you don't cooperate with the police investigation, the murderer will kill you to silence you. You won't even have the chance to regret it. Do you understand? Hurry up and tell me. Did you notice anything unusual about him? The taxi driver finally softened. He was scared. When encountering such a situation, whoever wasn't scared would be acting cool. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.